Yep.
All right, here we go. Well, no, wrong thing. We are live on Pop Culture Breakdown. Welcome to the show. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and we are delighted to be back, ladies and gentlemen. We are absolutely delighted to be back. It's been a hard week plus for all of us here on the show and in this community and the audience that's watching. It's been really, really tough. But you know what? We're really glad to be back. And more about that in a minute. But right now, I want to go ahead and cycle around and introduce our panel of pop culture pundits for the evening. Here, we have apprehended Gary Ambrosia after his recent daring escape. Once again, Gary Ambrosia, I'd say welcome to the show, but of course your attendance was compulsory and mandatory. Good to see you. Imprisoned. Go ahead.
Well, nonetheless, thanks for letting me be here. But yeah, what a couple of weeks. But yeah, we're here and ready to go. Sorry we weren't here last week, folks, but we're going to make it up to you tonight. So let's do this.
We've got a lot to talk about. And we've got Rob Wright here joining us. Rob Wright's Gen X Pop Culture. Welcome, Rob, to the show.
Hey, glad to be here. Folks, we've got a great show for you tonight. We've got some good, we've got some bad. We've got a fun movie tonight and a lot of stuff on the plate. So get the popcorn out, get a comfortable chair, and get ready to rock and roll with us because it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. And we've got Sean. Hail to you, Sean. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good to be back. I'm so glad that we're here. I hope everyone out there's doing well. And like Rob said, we got some good stuff to talk about and some other stuff. So let's get this going.
Let's get this show on the road. And who better to travel with? What more genial traveling companion could we have than Doug Nelson? He's like a ray of sunshine wherever he goes. Welcome, Doug Nelson. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing, and that's pretty good. Sometimes I don't do at all, but I'll be doing tonight. Stick around, more of Doug Nelson coming your way.
Oh man, this should just be changed to the Doug Nelson Show, starring Doug Nelson. We're really glad to have you here, buddy, and welcome. And we have anti-derivative Jill because we have some Star Trek shit to talk about. Lot of Star Trek shit to talk about. So we're glad to have you. Welcome to the show, Jill.
Thanks. Hey, and I'm glad to be here to talk about Star Trek. Maybe it's not the best news, but maybe there could be something good in the horizon coming with Skydance. We'll see. And I'm glad to be able to talk about it today. But all right. Legos are cool.
Nah, not real. I mean, this whole Star Trek Legos thing, oh geez, I was so excited. I was so excited that I haven't been this excited since I vacuumed the lair. Yeah.
Hey, somebody built your lair in Lego though.
Yeah. Well, that was cool. That was cool.
Come on, man. There's always room for Legos.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm a little stoked for the Lego Star Trek.
It's Picard, dude.
No, the Picard. Enterprise D. We're getting the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try not to get dizzy as I stand up and cheer from my seated position. Okay. Yeah. Picard, and we got Data there. all the usual
Spot, awesome.
collaborators with New Trek, or as I've renamed it now, No Trek. I can't believe it took me this long to come up with No Trek instead of New Trek, but it did. I'm slow. I'm a little slow. Fuck it. So let's get to the breakdown. We got a lot to talk about. Okay, folks. Well, first, right off the bat, we're sorry that we did miss last week. It was kind of a heart-rending decision. I mean, we debated it among ourselves, and the death of Charlie Kirk was a blow that landed late. It landed hard, and none of us saw it coming, of course. And it was we didn't know how to respond. We debated whether it would be a comfort to be here with you all, or would it be more respectful to step aside, step out of the spotlight for Charlie, for his family, for all who loved him around the world. And we were all very distraught as well. So we decided in the end that we needed to go ahead, and the best thing that we could do is honor him, honor his memory by not making it at all about us and stepping aside. So we have returned here, and some of us are still too upset to be here. So much love and respect to them. And I just want to say that this is not a political channel, as you know, but we do have a couple of pop culture items related to Charlie to discuss tonight. I mean, there's just no way to ignore these. One of them is a breaking news story. I mean, this just broke, ladies and gentlemen. This broke on X. Jimmy Kimmel, this is a Deadline article, ladies and gentlemen. This was posted just about 3:30 this afternoon. I only just found out about it shortly before the show. Jimmy Kimmel has gotten ABC's foot in his ass. He is, to all intents and purposes, canceled. He's out the door. Jimmy Kimmel, the headline reads from Deadline, Jimmy Kimmel pulled indefinitely by ABC after Nexstar drops late nighter from affiliates over Charlie Kirk comments. I have seen this story repeated over and over again. Assholes with big mouths that work on comic books, getting their comic books canceled. People who are defacing memorials, getting expelled from college and arrested for vandalism. I mean, look, I feel like we can talk about this, especially in terms of pop culture, because I don't view this as a political situation. I view this as a situation where people are acting just disgustingly. That this is not a question of politics. This is a question of common human fucking decency. This is just common decency that we as a nation celebrate free speech. We celebrate our differences. We debate, which is the life's blood of a representative democracy. And if we don't do that, well, then what happens to our democracy, to our country? I mean, this is just, and someone was shot. And this is a question of just being a decent fucking human being. And so many have shown their true colors at this point. Jimmy Kimmel apparently was one of them. He was mouthing off about this situation. I don't watch Kimmel. I haven't watched Kimmel, I don't think ever. Not since he was on Win Ben Stein's Money on MTV way back in the day. I mean, that was it.
I forgot about that.
That was it. And he was funny there. But I don't know what he said, except, he was falsely attributing certain things. I don't know, just mouthing off. mouthing off, you know, fuck around and find out. Well, he's found out. It looks like he is joining Colbert in being shown the door, and you know, fuck it. This is the way. You know, this is the way. You fucking. If you can't have the common humanity to express sympathy for, regardless of what his views were or whether you agreed with him or disagreed with him, he was a human being in America exercising the right of free speech, and to celebrate that or to mock it is inhuman. It's just fucking inhuman. So adios, asshole. Anyone have anything to say? Any of you watch Jimmy Kimmel? Do you know any? I mean, we'll just go around and comment. Gary, anything to say about this breaking news? Because wow, I mean, this is the face of late night is completely changing.
Right. Well, I never watched this show, but I was certainly aware of it, you know, and I certainly, you know, well, I wouldn't say I appreciated it, but I did used to watch Jimmy Kimmel walking out of the Burbank 7-Eleven all the time, stuffing his face with hot dogs. So Burbank 7-Eleven, if you're listening, keep stock tonight because guaranteed he's going to need a little comfort food. So hashtag make Kimmel fat again. Adios, Jimmy.
Well, that's the thing. Like Alabama Hellbilly in the chat is saying, okay, how do you celebrate free speech by firing people for disagreeing with a dead man? It is now a crime to disagree with Charlie Kirk? No, not at all. What is awful is celebrating the death of someone. That's what it is. Certainly, I would never cancel anyone who disagreed with any positions that Charlie Kirk had. That's not what this is about. This is about, you know, celebrating the assassination of an individual in this country, and that is not something that anyone in the public eye should do. It is an awful, horrible thing to do, and it just encourages more of this kind of horrible behavior. Rob, any response to that? No, certainly I'm not taking any sides. I'm not analyzing anything that Charlie Kirk said, agreeing or disagreeing with it. It's just a fundamental issue of basic decency. That is my position. Rob, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, Kimmel, instead of taking time to really address and understand the situation and maybe bringing his audience to a reasonable middle and really saying something that could have comforted or could have said, hey, free speech is important and it's the important thing here. He goes off on some kind of rant, and we're not going to talk about politics tonight at all on this channel, but it's that he goes to an extreme and does something completely stupid at a time when people are mourning and people are upset on both sides about this. And, you know, he had the opportunity to really do something great and come in the middle and come in on the side of, you know, free speech and talk about it from an objective point of view. And he decided not to. And it's his fault for doing that. And that's why he's getting the axe.
Yeah, and I mean, we just found out about this. So I never was a fan of Jimmy Kimmel, except, like I said, on Win Ben Stein's Money on MTV back in the day. Sean, anything to add to this?
Bye, Felicia.
Okay.
Well, I'll just say, I mean, alternative to what Rob was, he could have just not said anything. He could have just kept his mouth shut.
Yeah. He
could have said something in the middle. Jamie Lee Curtis said something that was very nice. She split it right down there. It was very respectable. But it wasn't so much that it was an opinion. He lied. He outright lied. And you spread stuff like that, it could cause more, you know, and that's I think ABC's hands were tied here. They had to get rid of him for what he did. So if anyone out there isn't sure of what he said, look it up and then make a decision. But
there you go.
That's,
you know,
correct.
10 or 20 people are. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Let's be clear on this too. Jimmy Kimmel will not be arrested or, you know, prosecuted for anything that he said. He has the right to say exactly what he said. What his employers do with that, well, that's entirely up to them.
That's exactly right. You know, and they felt that it was in their economic and maybe, you know, legal interest, who knows, to bail on this particular crazy train. Doug, anything to add to this?
Well, yeah, I don't know specifically what he said. I will find out. But gathering from what Sean said, and I'll go this overall about cancel culture and everything we went through with people getting canceled over, you know, minor things and silly crap that really didn't amount to a whole lot, but it was done for the purposes of cancel overall. In this case, where you're celebrating this, you're really on the edge, if not overboard with it, into the point of death threats, which it was always actionable when you engage in stuff like that. And if you're celebrating and seeing as promoting the act of something of that nature, all bets are off. You can lose your job over that, and because it's brand damage, all that sort of thing comes into play for it. If he engaged in certain things about Charlie that people spread around, which can easily be seen as the provocative nature of what more than likely led to what happened, then same thing, you know, it's right in there with that. And for them to say, all right, we're done, you know, then sucks to be you, Jimmy, you know, that's how this plays out. And so the argument will go on, and maybe some things will be a bit much as the emotions are raw and whatnot. But for the most part, especially like you mentioned, the comic book writer and stuff like that, is that, yeah, you're celebrating murder. Yeah. And I will shed no tears over something in that nature. So it's not a matter. I mean, obviously you can say, yeah, I didn't agree with the guy, but if you're going to say anything, this is horrible. And, you know, thoughts with the family and all that sort of thing, which is the standard, if anything. Or like Sean said, he could have said nothing. But, you know, I haven't watched this show in a very long time. Jimmy, they just had no interest. And late night television, I'm afraid, is a thing of the past at this point anyway.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Well, there we have it. Now, before I go to Jill, I want to give her something to really sink her teeth into. She can go first on this, but Jimmy Kimmel is not the first, pop culture, shall we say, fallout of this particular event, showing his true colors. A Star Trek icon had to weigh in, had to open his big mouth, had to be insulting and callous. And I'm talking about Tim Russ on Star Trek Voyager. Tim Russ, I can't believe that he did this, but I'm going to share a screen. This was a post that Tim Russ posted on his account. Take a look at that. The only Kirk that matters. Let me highlight this for you again. The only Kirk that matters. Now, lest you think that he's talking about that Wesley idiot on Star Trek, same old shit, or Suck New Worlds, whatever you want to call it. This is pointedly a shot at the situation with Charlie Kirk, and it's just so completely antithetical to everything that Star Trek stands for, everything Vulcans stand for, everything, like I said, decent human beings stand for. This son of a gun, it's incredible. It's incredible what he said, and unless you think it was just an isolated thing, Tim Russ, apparently John Del Arroz of Pop Culture and Gaming, pulled these quotes and reposted them on X. Charlie Kirk and his fellow MAGA Republican mouthpieces have no problems with guns killing children in our schools almost every effing week. So to hell with all of them. Sorry, but that's just how I feel. You support killing, you don't deserve any sympathy. Well, nobody supports killing, but that's Tim. That's Tuvok, anti-derivative Jill. Have you anything to say about this?
Oh, it really hurts. I've had Tim Russ muted on my. I follow him, but I mute him for obvious political reasons. I've always been tired of hearing what he has to say in that regard, but it really breaks my heart because artistically, I used to think he was really cool and talented because it is difficult to play a Vulcan, and aside from acting, he played guitar and did amateur astronomy. But Tim Russ has obviously let the hatred of whatever political discourse has been stewing in his heart to just run him so cold that he wants to discard the death of a husband and father of two. And that is exactly also what Jimmy Kimmel did. His aside from lying about the murder, aside from that, he also said that he's mourning Charlie the way a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish. And that's what he said. Those were the words. If you didn't want me to read them, but that's I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous and just the absolute worst thing. And it makes sense that there are consequences because of it, even if they're temporary. People need to understand how to be decent human beings and not let their politics skew their humanity.
Well said. Very, very well said. And, I got to say, look, I'm not being petty or small. I'm just being factual. Tim Russ doesn't have much of a career anymore. I haven't seen him in a long time in anything. And I'm not being a dick. It's just the facts. The only thing that a lot of these guys have is the convention circuit, going to conventions, getting invited to conventions, signing pictures, autographs at conventions. How many convention invites do you think Tim Russ is going to get after this? Let's just go around and, I'm just curious. Let's take a poll. Gary, you looking forward to going and getting his autograph at conventions?
To be quite honest, yes, I am looking forward to going and getting his autograph. In fact, if I ever see him, I'll fly on out there and I will be there to get his autograph. I'll have a photo for him to sign. I don't know what it'll be of, but yeah, I'd love to get him to sign something.
Well, that, a lot of people were saying you're disappointing. You're a disgrace. You're a horrible human being. I think that's the kind of reception that he will get, even if Creation Entertainment and all of these other like conventions actually still invite him, which I personally can't imagine, because the hatred that will flood into the kumbaya of the convention hall will be kind of epic. Robert, anything to add to this?
Not really. I mean, if he's at a convention that I'm at, I probably not really going to go up to get his autograph. Now, it'll be interesting to be in one of the convention halls if he's speaking to a group of people, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of questions about what he posted on Twitter, and that would be interesting to watch. And quite frankly, if nobody were to speak up and ask that question, I would. But that's about it. That's about as far as I would go.
I think he just fucked his own only or main stream of income right now at this point. Sean, anything to add?
Yeah, I think his wife is saying, "Hey Tim, if you find your paycheck," and I ain't found shit. That's going to be him in about a week.
Well, there you go. Doug, geez, do you think this will impact his convention income?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, yes, I'm afraid so. It's sad because I know these all my life. I've had to separate the art from the artist, but sometimes, oh man, and I just don't get this stuff, you know. I mean, but the sad thing is, I wasn't a big fan of Star Trek Voyager, of the old Star Trek shows. It was kind of my least favorite of them, and yet there were certain characters that I really liked on the show. The Doctor, Neelix kind of annoyed me at first, but he grew on me. And Tuvok, I was really good. And I really liked him. So those three were my big favorites of the show. And well, yeah, well, you just can't have nice things, I suppose. And it's one of those things where you say, oh, and increasingly it gets when they have to spill their stuff. Oh, this guy hates me, you know, and it makes it very hard. And so I don't understand. You know, but you just can't help yourself, I guess. And well, there you go.
Yep, there you go. It is what it is. So that's a few, like a breaking pop culture story, the firing or indefinite dismissal of suspension, whatever, of Jimmy Kimmel. And this Tim Russ situation. I made a video about this today that was a respectful, restrained for common public consumption video. I have a channel member video that is much more frank about the Tim Russ situation coming out tomorrow. I wanted to get it out today. It's all ready to go. I just gotta edit it and post it. But it's coming, channel members, and I think you'll find it very, very satisfying. But let's talk about another potential atrocity, The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is a movie that we have discussed at length on a segment of movies we love. I think it was one of the earliest segments, really. And it's a timeless classic. It's one of the greatest films ever made, and it currently exists in a mutilated state in Las Vegas. It is airing at the Sphere, ladies and gentlemen. It is airing at the Sphere, which is the giant ball that dominates the Las Vegas landscape. U2, had concerts in there, and now they've taken The Wizard of Oz. They've edited about 30 or 40 minutes out of it, and they are projecting it onto the inside of the dome. None of it is unadulterated. It is all processed through AI, expanded through AI. It's showing a kind of a environment, if you will. I mean, even like the actors, their faces are smoothed in a lot of instances. It's an artificial deconstruction and reconstruction of the Wizard of Oz, and it's bringing in like $2 million a day at the Sphere. Now, on one hand, if you look at it in terms of the film, then there's no doubt that it's a desecration. It's a fucking abomination. I mean, they butchered the film. They've redone the film. They've had AI just chew it up and spit out a new iteration of it. I mean, sure, it has the basic audio and stuff, but it's not The Wizard of Oz. So as a film, it's a monstrosity. However, if you look at it not as a film, but as a theme park ride, as an attraction, because what they do is they have real flame effects in there. They have, in the tornado, like wind effects, and, they're blowing leaves around in the Sphere. So you're experiencing that. They've got inflatable flying monkeys at one point that zip around the auditorium. So it's like living Oz the experience. So the question that I want to pose to you guys is, what do you think about this? Is it more of an atrocity? Is it more of an innovative fun ride that's just kind of it's not the film, but it's kind of a chance to go in and experience this as an environment, bearing in mind that some kids, well, whatever kids go, more likely than not, this will be their first introduction to the wonderful Wizard of Oz, which is like so sacrilegious in my cinematic church that it makes my head want to explode. So let's just go around and see what you guys think of this. Gary, you and I have talked about this. What is your final opinion on this? Because this is,
well, I mean, it's back in the day when Disneyland wanted to open up an Indiana Jones attraction. They wanted to do kind of the same thing. Not exactly like this, but similar to where the ride was just the mine car chase from the Temple of Doom. Right now, I know it's a little bit different, but this to me just looks like kind of like a ride or an experience, an attraction. It's not replacing the Wizard of Oz. I don't think that they're like, taking this AI version and that's the only one they're going to release, kind of like George Lucas, like, well, this is the complete film. It's not like they're doing that. You know what I mean? They're not taking it away, but if you think about it, you're making an interesting point, Doom. Like this could be the first instance that a young person could have with an experience to the Wizard of Oz, being exposed to that. And although that might not be great, is it better that the kid at least gets some kind of exposure to something that's great and maybe could watch it later on, the whole movie at home? Because, it's not like you can go anywhere in the world and watch that crazy bastardized version of the movie. You have to be at that dome in Vegas. I don't think they're going to release it anywhere. I mean, I don't know if they released it anywhere, it'd be on VR or something like that, But I don't know. I'm indifferent. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to make a sign and hold it up in front of the dome and be like, this is sacrilegious. I'm not going to do that. But I mean, it's a gimmick. You know what I mean? It's not the Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would go check it out just for the experience. But I'm of the mind that can separate myself from what I'm watching, and clearly not being fooled that this is the end all be all definition of that beautiful film.
Absolutely.
So I'm all right with it. I don't care. It's an attraction. I don't care.
All right. So you're kind of falling on the theme park ride.
It's a theme park. It's a gimmick thing. And if anything, Doom, it gets them introduced to the Wizard of Oz, and then maybe they'll watch it at home on MGM Prime or something like that. I don't know.
Or
maybe
on
they'll read the book.
Media, which is because God knows they can edit these things.
Right. Maybe they'll go. God forbid they go read the bound book. You know what I mean? I don't know. But
yeah, I know. I hear you. Rob, anything to add?
Yeah, I got some slides all set for you, Doomcock.
Oh, well. Awesome! That's awesome. Let's see some examples of this.
Yeah. So this one. So the first thing about this one, this is a picture. One of the things that I will say for it, at least they didn't change the black and white. Because one of the things I love about Wizard of Oz is the black and white to color is just spectacular. But yeah, you've got Dorothy here, and that's interesting. And then this is more of your effects here with the great and powerful Oz.
Because you can see the people in the audience around the edges, and that is actual flames, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've got pyrotechnics during this scene.
Yeah. And then there's your tornado scene, which that's kind of cool. But the other thought I had is that I wonder if a kid would be really scared to see this, like almost like an actual tornado. That might be frightening for a child, but
I hope so.
That'll teach him not to get involved in those dastardly tornadoes.
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't need any more storm chasers. We've already been there and done that. All right.
Yeah. It's interesting. And then this, of course, is going down the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
And then the last one is this picture with the Wicked Witch of the West, Glinda and Dorothy. Actually, what would be cool, actually, if they did this to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, and they did a whole thing with that. That would be even cooler. But I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about it. I mean, to me, I don't think you need all of this because it's such a great movie and it stands up on its own. And the great thing about Wizard of Oz, to me, we watched it every year as a child. It'd come out in the spring and be on network TV. And it was a big deal for everybody to watch it. Oh, did you watch Wizard of Oz last night? Oh, yeah. And that was handed down from my parents' generation onto my generation. So that's the beauty of this film. And I don't know if this is an experience that'll get kids, like Gary said, to watch it. That's great. But I don't know if it was something that was really needed. I think he could have invented or created a cool new movie to do this right with and be something completely different that nobody's ever seen before. So,
yeah.
There's a concept, new ideas.
New ideas. That's a wild, crazy thing. I see that Tom of Midnight's Edge is in the audience. Hail to you, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Good to see you, man. Let us know if you need in on this. You're always welcome. Sean, what do you think of this?
Yeah. I don't know much. I mean, as long as they didn't change the story or add to it or put some, modern messaging in there, I'm okay with it. Like Rob was saying, yeah, I've watched Wizard of Oz last year. It's still being shown in the springtime, but we got to be honest. I mean, the kids aren't gonna watch that. They're gonna see some black and white movie on TV. They're just gonna not watch. So if this can get kids interested and aware of the story and at least appreciate the songs and the artistry that they had, the set pieces were amazing. And if I'm happy if it's just exposing people that haven't experienced it before to that. And hopefully some people maybe order the DVD or read the book or something, whatever generates interest. Now, I just say that again, as long as they're not effing with the story, don't change anything. And then it's fine. But I will tell you this, tickets for this damn thing are $172. I just looked them up for a Thursday night. And my wife went there for some show a couple of years ago, and just the parking is $50.
Damn.
So right out the door, you're out $220 to see this thing. So, I mean, I can't afford that.
Wow.
Well, but it is mutilated. I mean, you say not making changes. Well, the Wizard's different. The Wizard's completely re-rendered. The effect is completely different. You had an actual man in a, that was semi-transparent. It was a terrifying effect, and this is more, clearly CGI and I mean, they've cut songs like shorter, to save money because they got to crank out more shows. So they're cutting 30, 40 minutes out of the thing. I mean, no, I kind of side with you guys in a sense, but I always feel a bit pissed off about it because this is a great film, and the idea that they should basically like age restrict this to, have you seen The Wizard of Oz before? Then you can come in. If you have not seen The Wizard of Oz before, fuck you. Go see The Wizard of Oz and come back.
Fuck you.
It's in the fine
Jimmy.
print.
Yeah.
That is
born
policy.
earlier, you little prick.
Oh, God.
And of course, you must answer a little quiz to prove that you have seen the film.
Exactly, Timmy.
If
Don't
not,
lie.
well, again, fuck you.
Are you a good witch or a woke bitch?
God.
But yeah, basically I'm like with Gary and Robert, I'm kind of indifferent to it. And I do see it more as like you said, the carnival ride or something like that. And they probably in their minds are thinking, hey, this will be a tribute to it and that sort of thing. And well,
right.
It's not on par with, hey, let's do the absolutely completely AI sequel to it. Well, we'll explain the real story. And but that kind of thing. And so Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You know, it is one of the all-time great classic films, and for the most part, it's like, don't draw a mustache on the Mona Lisa, that kind of thing. But then again, to Sean's point, yeah, it might spark curiosity in the young, because you can't bring this home. You can barely get there as it is with the price there. I say, good Lord. But you want to watch the movie, and this is the real movie. This is what spawned this or what have you, and that kind of thing. One can hope.
Wow. Wow. Y'all are so fucking mellow tonight. It's just it's unbelievable. I mean, spark interest. Sit the kids down in front of the big screen or take them out to a revival screening and show it to them. Anyone that takes a child to this and the first time they see it's like abuse. Damn it. Andy Derivative Jill, you're a parent. What do you say about this?
Yeah, I am a parent, and I have shown my children The Wizard of Oz. It was at home. I haven't got to take them to see it in a theater or anything. But yes, I think that is absolutely vital to see it before watching this, because this is completely different. They completely ripped out the tornado scene and that whole thing, the whole leaves blowing around and the wind and the fans. And the visuals are all completely brand new. And I think it's right to say that it's a theme park ride. I really love Universal Studios. Currently, my preferred way to spend hundreds of dollars on tangential movie experiences, because this is like you get to wander around. You get several rides, not just one experience. And one of my favorite rides was Mummy's Revenge, which was based on Mummy movie. But of course, it's not the whole movie. It's just a little bit. It's not even part of the movie. It's like before the movie, a prequel or something. I don't know, but it also has fire, and there's a Spider-Man ride that has water. So there are immersive effects you can have at Universal Studios, which I think is a better bang for my money. This thing has 30 minutes of the movie cut out, and apparently from what I hear. So Rob Wright, you can't play Dark Side of the Moon to it. It wouldn't work. So,
you wouldn't see anything.
That's true.
And
I have seen Dark Side of the Moon synced up with The Wizard of Oz. And in fact, they synced it up twice, because the movie's longer, and when it stopped, they started at a certain point, and it syncs up perfectly the next time through. I mean, it's one of the most mind-blowing damn things I've ever seen. And boy, I would really, really kill to see the dark side of the rainbow in the Sphere. Because, oh my God, can you imagine just hearing Dark Side of the Moon on that sound system?
Oh yeah.
And I hear that the actual sound system of the Sphere is so incredible that that's the reason to go, and that they had that the entire score was re-recorded by an orchestra using on the same place where the original soundtrack was recorded.
Oh, really? Good Lord.
Wow. Yeah, they could CGI the band members in the movie.
They did use a lot of AI, but they also used some CGI and some artistry too. And I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I hear it is a little bit jarring.
Wow. I wonder if they could CGI me some enthusiasm for Star Trek Legos of Captain Picard. I don't think so. I don't think there's not enough processing power on that.
I want an Enterprise. I hate Star Trek Picard season 3 or all new Trek, but I still love The Next Generation. I can still separate the two, so I do want an Enterprise.
Well, it's getting harder and harder for me to separate all the bullshit from The Next Generation. Thank God the original series is much more separated than that garbage. But that brings us to Star Trek Day, September 8th, 1966. Star Trek premiered with The Man Trap, and a weird choice for them to premiere, but they thought, hey, it's got a good monster in it. It'll make the kids happy. It shows how little NBC understood Star Trek at that time. But, this Star Trek Day, we would have talked about it last week, but unfortunately we were unable to do so. So I thought we should talk about it this week. All it did was fill me with indifference and despair. It felt like a wake for Star Trek to me this year. Last couple of years, it's felt that way. I didn't feel any stirring of enjoyment or excitement. It just felt like, like, hey, there it is. It's lying in its coffin. Let's go ahead and, raise a glass to the damn thing and, goodbye. It's just like there was nothing to celebrate, for me. I wanted to go ahead and just kind of throw it out. I mean, this is what I posted. This is what I posted on September 8th. This Star Trek day just feels like a wake. Star Trek has been massively abused since Enterprise ended. I'd like to think that Skydance is going to reset everything to the end of Enterprise, do the Captain Archer series, and shove all the recent crap into a parallel universe, since that's the only way to save things, but I doubt that will happen. Regardless, Star Trek still lives in my DVD player and in the hearts of all of us who have boldly gone where no man has gone before. They can't take away our memories or our discs, comics, and books. Keep on trekking, true believers. It's the logical thing to do. But that was my take on it. I tell you, in comparison to Star Trek, Star Wars is a healthy franchise. I know it really
That's
is.
rough.
It's true. I mean, listen, a lot of Skeleton Crew was watchable, and I actually thought that Andor was pretty damn good. There's nothing good that's been produced under No Trek, under Secret Hideout. Nothing, not a fucking thing. And I mean, and it's the atrocities have been ungodly. I mean, it's made KK look like an amateur in terms of abuse of fans, abuse of I mean, making tribbles part human that were bred that way so that they could be food sources for kids. That they showed kids wolfing down the part human tribbles as a joke. This is true, Gary. You didn't know this.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's true. Yeah. They made those kids Campbells.
Yeah. Yeah. And they thought that was funny. This season they've turned the entire crew into Muppets. They turned the entire crew into Vulcans. It's an endless parade of abuse. They did a episode that was just outright just shitting all over original Star Trek and Shatner and anybody that loved the show. So listen, Star Trek's by far in worse shape than Star Wars. And I just want to go around and get everyone's opinion. We'll start with you, Jill. Anything to say about Star Trek Day?
No, I mean, that's why I mentioned the Legos. That's all I've got. Or is the Enterprise D for Christmas. I could build that and be happy and pretend, Picard doesn't, Star Trek Picard doesn't exist and go on an adventure. But the only other, Star Trek Day, but the only other good thing that's happening with Star Trek is those Oitoy documentaries. I'm not sure if you saw those or not, but those are really interesting, and they've dug up some stuff from the Roddenberry archives that are fun. It's good to have something, but it's not what we deserve. But we definitely deserve a whole lot more, because everything Secret Hideout has given us is just Star Trek in name only, Steino. And just when you think it can't get any worse, New Trek always succeeds in finding a way to sink to a new low. And on Star Trek Day, we got that new low in the form of a baby show. Somebody sent me a link to it, and I said, "Why are you sending me Paw Patrol? Like, this is weird." No, it wasn't Paw Patrol. It was some sort of weird crew destroying a comet with a hammer or something. I don't know. Then they had a Vulcan with a robot arm or something, but it wasn't really a Vulcan. None of this is Star Trek. And and once I got over that, I realized I shouldn't be surprised about this, because the infantilization of Star Trek, the babyfication of Star Trek, has been going on since the very beginning, with all the crying and the hugging and stuff in Discovery, and Strange New Worlds with all the love drama triangle, making Spock, even though he's supposed to be with he's supposed to be betrothed to Pring, but here he is having a love affair with Chapel or something. It makes me sick every single time when in that singing episode when he starts singing about being in love with her and being overly emotional. I turned it off. I couldn't even get through that whole episode. And so it just gets worse. There's high school sophomoric filth and lower decks, and then Prodigy. There's actually some Star Trek fans who like it, but that you're not supposed to talk down to children. That was bad enough. The preschool show is even worse. And DC Fontana had said when she had put out a memo about putting out the Star Trek animation, the animated series, that Star Trek in animated form should not talk down to children. It should be Star Trek exactly as it was on screen, except now we can have cooler aliens because we're not bound by the budget. That's the only difference that there should be. And these guys did not get that memo. And even worse, we got Starfleet Academy, more babification of Star Trek. We need, as if we need a 90210 for Star Trek. It's just all garbage with the Star Trek label attached. And it's just that the only way these productions are getting any attention is because of that label. And so I didn't watch any more of the trailer of that Scouts, the baby show. But it's just I've talked to so many guys here on YouTube who say they started watching Star Trek at 5 years old. They didn't need a baby show to do it. They just needed Captain Kirk.
Yep. No, 100%. I'm going to go next to our crash test Smarty, who is probably the only person on this panel that has watched all of this latest season of Star Trek, Suck New Worlds. Doug, your thoughts on this past Star Trek day?
Well, of course, it's sad. It says, hey, boy, this new Trek looks stupid. Well, that's because it's made by stupid. So, that's, you listen, it's hard to listen to anything where they talk about I'm so proud of our work because of this or that. And it's all just like, oh, God, no wonder. But, I kept referring to it as familiar old worlds because they hardly ever went to any. This season, they sort of did. But, they had a string of episodes that were barely competent, sandwiched in between just absolute, awful shows that they thought would be funny. It was like, good Lord, you don't know how to read the room. That was not going to go well, and and stuff like that. And then it just, I don't know. It was a strange ending to the season. So the good news is it's over for now.
Well, for now,
it just sort of ended like a fart in the wind or something. It was strange. I think it's another YouTuber commented that they thought they were setting it up for a Doctor Who crossover. And then that fell through. Because I know that Kurtzman and RTD did talk about that together. And stuff. Oh man, what a missed opportunity!
Shooting
we
Trek.
have to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh. There was actually, I think there was a TARDIS in one of the episodes hidden in like. Easter egg.
Like a little Easter egg thing. But I don't know, maybe. Because it was going into similar to what RTD did with Doctor Who. It was like, forget about science in your science fiction show. Let's bring elements of magic and fantasy. So you got to dose of that as well.
Doctor Who Trek, to boldly come in every man has come before.
Like, damn it, that's brilliant, Doomcock. Oh man.
Yeah.
So some of it some of these actors that because I've seen they'll have moments and I say, well, if they were in something else they'd probably be pretty good, but in that respect felt sorry for it a time or two, but it's just morbid curiosity. There's really no other reason to watch it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I won't. I refuse. I don't have any more brain cells left to spare after Discovery and Pucard and all that fucking shit. Gary, any thoughts on this Star Trek day, this past Star Trek day?
Yeah, well, it came and went. And I've divorced myself of all things to do with pretty much all the franchises now. I really I don't give a damn about any of this stuff anymore. But I will say that I'm really proud of the Star Trek history and lore that I've inherited over the past year, and I'm doing my part to preserve what was once great. And I'm happy about that, and I'm able to enjoy that. And I still got the old show. I still got the original 6 movies. I'm good. I'm good. Really, I'm all right.
All right, fair enough. Rob, anything to add?
Yes. So Star Trek was about hope. It was about hope and what humanity could be and should be. It added elements of actual science. It took us on an adventure to explore strange new worlds and new civilizations. Basically, it was an adventure show that gave hope to humanity. This stuff isn't even close to anything remotely of the original vision of Star Trek. It's complete garbage. These guys aren't even smoking dope. They're so far beyond that it's just awful. And so I can't look at it the same way. I'm so thankful that I've got on physical media all the Star Trek I'll ever need. And that's the original series, the original movies, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine, some of the Next Generation, but that's it. The rest of it's garbage. And until they get their act together and do a full reboot and actually go and give us real Trek, where they actually go back and understand what Trek was and what Trek is, and not this bastardization of it, I don't care about it.
Yeah, 100%. Sean, anything to add to this?
Yeah, well, first of all, I also was a crash test dummy and watched and reviewed every single episode of Strange New Crap over at Admiral Teague's channel. We watched every one of them, and it was horrible. But as for Star Trek Day, I'm reflecting on the events of last week, and I'm like, I had to turn off the internet and everything. And what did I go to feel better? I watched The Trouble with Tribbles.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek is, and it was like it's right near Star Trek Day, and it's one of those things like when you're feeling down or disparaged about the current state of humanity, that's what Star Trek was for. That I went there for the hope, and the optimistic view of the future. And I thought about watching some other ones, but I wanted one that was fun and cheerful, and I watched a couple other episodes, and that's what it's supposed to be. Now for Star Trek babies, it's like, oh, it's Pon Far Patrol or something like that. It's like this little
Par and Far
Patrol. Yeah,
arf,
instead
arf.
of that, and a Vulcan named Doug, played by Patton frickin' Oswalt.
Yeah.
But it's an important day. But like I said, the physical media is important. I've got all of it too, and it's a go-to. When I'm down, that's where I go. I want to see something good about humanity. Go to TOS.
Absolutely. I mean, when I'm sick, when I'm feeling, sometimes I've, been unable to sleep, or if I'm ill, on the couch, Star Trek is my go-to, bastion against despair. It feels like going home. And that's I just thank God for it. Well,
they
folks,
had to name Patton Oswalt Doug.
Oh, you poor.
Yeah, that was almost the line there for crash test Smarty here. Boy.
Well, just wait till we see Academy. Wait till you see start.
I'm not seeing Academy. That's just no.
You just ain't seen nothing yet.
You watch it all, Doug.
I did watch it all, but
you have your limits.
Yes, I do.
So next year is going to be. It is an important date. Next year's it's going to be on Wednesday. So and it's going to be the 60th anniversary.
Well,
Academy shows are going to be on Wednesdays.
No. I mean,
Star Trek the celebration.
Year.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think I'll feel any more optimistic than I did this year.
I don't know.
Joel Jimenez is pointing out about the news about Jimmy Kimmel. We already covered that, my friend. Back up the stream and you'll hear us talk about that. We're also going to be reviewing Alien Earth and Peacemaker. We've got new episodes. We didn't get to review last week's Alien Earth, so we got 2 episodes to review today. And also, I want to hear Gary's opinion of the 5th episode, In Space, No One Can Hear You Scream, when we come back. And also, finally, we're going to say farewell to a Hollywood icon, Robert Redford. Really, one of the last remaining true movie stars that we had left. So we've got all that coming in the next hour. But right now, let's go ahead and get to some of your super chats, my friends. Thank you for your patience. We certainly appreciate it. All right, folks, let's get to your comments. I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to think about all this nonsense. FKHC 2005 with a $2 super chat says, sing the song. Oh, wait, it's the show. Yes, we sing the song on Friday Night Frolics to annoy Harvey Cthulhu into trying to escape. It's great fun flirting with the Universal Armageddon. Thank you, FKHC 2005. Clint Skinner with a $5 super chat says, why do football players make terrible pilots? They always break the plane before touchdown. And he says also with another $5 super chat, why would you never keep Ewoks outside? Because they're considered indoor pets. Wah, 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 wah. These are the corny, horrible kinds of jokes that we love to throw at each other on Friday Night Frolics. Thank you, Clint Skinner, for both of those corny jokes. Thank God we're not on Friday Night Frolics right now when Harvey would open the book of dread, horrible dad jokes, the Necronomicon, as he calls it. Michael Maloney has been a channel member for 8 months, and Michael says, anyone else feel Doomsday is in fact DOA? You mean Avengers Doomsday? I don't know, folks. I really don't know. I am of the opinion that I'm hoping it will be good. I don't know if I expect that, but I'm hoping and praying that, the stakes are just too big for, Marvel to fuck around anymore, that they're really, really, really going to try. We know that in the past, when they have tried, they've succeeded brilliantly. And, to quote Captain Kirk, it's better for you, it's better for me, it's better for them if they succeed. But if they don't succeed, well, as much money as they're gambling on this thing, I think it could be absolutely catastrophic. We'll see. But we may talk about that a little later in the show. I did a video about a rumor that in Avengers Doomsday, it picks up right at the end of Endgame and basically ignores all the shit that came afterwards, or just decanonizes it. There's many different interpretations of this particular rumor. I don't know. I think it would be a great thing to flush Agatha all along and She-Hulk and Secret Invasion, all that shit straight down the old loo. But I don't know if they have the good sense to take that precious gift that's being offered to them. Warachi with a $10 super chat. Hail to you, Warachi, says extensive prisoner rations, 1 pallet of Vienna hot dogs, all fixins possible, Chicago style prioritized. Ooh, crates of assorted snack chips, kegs of caffeinated soda beverages, 1 cauldron of ultra hot chili. Ultra hot chili. Gary's going to live like a king, folks. Gary Ambrosia, welcome back. Meal for Gary from Warachi. Thank you, Warachi. Very kind of you. And Warachi, who has been a channel member of mine, a Dumentite for 42 months now. Hail to you, life, the universe, and everything. Warachi. He says, my lord, what is your and the panel's favorite sci-fi fantasy TV show? Jeez. Well, I guess we could talk about that when we come back. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously, the show that has meant the most to me in my life is Star Trek. Um, I guess these days, if I was to eliminate Star Trek as a kind of knee-jerk answer and say what is my favorite sci-fi fantasy TV show, I'd have to say probably the Battlestar Galactica reboot, by Ron Moore. I just think that thing is incredible, unless you consider The Prisoner to be fantasy or sci-fi, in which case it would be The Prisoner. I don't know if anyone else on the panel is listening right now, or if you're on a smoke break or whatever, but I guess we'll go around and maybe think about that. We'll come back and answer that question or address that question after this super chat break. But thank you, Arachi. That's very interesting. Point Curation with a $2 Canadian super chat. Hail to you, Point Curation. He's got a super sticker saying, hey, you. And I'm saying, hey, you right back, Point Curation. Thank you very, very much for that super sticker. And thank you for the artwork that you sent me. I see it every day. Michael Maloney with a $5 super chat. Hail to you, Michael. He says, what classic needs a movie TV show? Caves of Steel, my pick. Interesting. I don't know. I'm so burned out on trying to pick literary properties to get the movie or TV treatment that I'm just like, please, at this point, just don't, look what they did to Watchmen, oh, it's just over and over and over again. It's always worse, almost always worse. So yeah, I just want them to forget about things that have gone before and maybe come up with some new and original ideas. That would be the very best thing that could happen, in my humble opinion. Warachi with a $5 super chat is celebrating Oktoberfest. He says, it's Oktoberfest time. Beer, sausage, pretzels, Lederhosen, beer, drinking, music, beer. Did I mention I like Oktoberfest and Oktoberfest type beers? Yes, Warachi. Hail to you, Warachi. I'm just delighted. I've never been to an Oktoberfest, I don't think. I never have. But I do love October. It's my favorite month of the year. I love Halloween. And I think this Halloween, it falls on a Friday, I've been told, which would mean Friday Night Frolics Halloween edition. It'll be wild. Trevin Lane with a $20 super chat of great generosity. Thank you, Trevin Lane. Says, hail DC, panel and chat. It is boiling hot outside my hidden base in Nevada, and the androids are caught up in a debate over which is worse, New Trek or Star Woke. What do you think? Right now, it's a draw. Actually, I answered this earlier, Trevin Lane. I think the hands down loser here is No Trek, or New Trek, as you called it. I call it No Trek. Not a shred of value. Nothing good whatsoever about the damn thing. It is a fucking disgrace. There hasn't been a single good episode, not a single good scene, not a single good moment in any No Trek since 2017. Whereas Star Wars has had a few highs out there. They really have. And I think lately they've been kind of getting better and better. Star Trek compared to Star Wars, Star Wars a healthy franchise in comparison, and that's saying a lot. But oh my God, Muppets on Star Trek. Just saying. And a musical episode where the Klingons sing. Fuck me. Sigvaldason with a $10 super chat. Hail to Sigvaldason, the high priest of the cult of Harvey. I know Doomcock won't read this, so I'm going to read it. Sigvaldason says, welcome to Harvey Cthulhu Presents Pop Culture Breakdown, a Harvey Cthulhu production. Please enjoy the show. Harvey Cthulhu is pleased you can be here tonight. Well, of course, it's none of those things, but Sigvaldason is the high priest of the cult of Harvey, so you expect this kind of brainwashing from cultists. No disrespect to Sigvaldason, but he is a cultist. Trevin Lane with a $5 super chat again. Thank you, Trevin Lane. He says, have you heard the news? They have replaced Henry Cavill and are making something they're calling season 4 of The Witcher. It doesn't look good. Yeah, no, Cavill pissed off a long time ago. He said, this thing is nothing like the original Witcher. You're disrespecting the original property. He was a fan of The Witcher. Now it's becoming a girl power property, and he just clashed with the producers, and to preserve his own integrity, he walked. So yeah, I think it's Liam Hemsworth or something. I don't know. I'm never gonna watch it again. The first season was really, really good. Henry Cavill was a fantastic Geralt of Rivia, and unfortunately, when he left, so did my interest. Casey's Creepy Creations has been an arch villain of mine for 64 months now. Hail to you, Casey's Creepy Creations. He says, hail DC, Harvey, panel, and chat. 64 months, and all I know is you folks rock. Not as hard as you rock, Casey Osowski. Please subscribe to Casey's Creepy Creations. He is a great guy, and he deserves all of your attention, your subscription, and your views. Thank you, Casey's Creepy Creations, who also sent a $10 super chat of great generosity. He says, much love, buddy. Much love to you, Casey. Hail to you, brother, and thank you for being here tonight with us.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff coming up, you guys, so subscribe to him.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And so does Casey. Quark's
No,
Bar.
that's what. Yeah, Casey. I was saying Casey has a lot coming up.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And we really appreciate you plugging there, man.
Oh.
And Quark's Bar with a $20 super chat. Hail to you, Quark. It's good to see you, my friend. He says, hail Doomcock. Important for all panelists to hear and read what I say. Also, it's very bad. The last thing Charlie Kirk heard as he died was the kids in crowd laughing at him. Think about that and send to everyone. I don't know how you can know that for sure, sir, but it is a horrible thing. It is not a subject for mockery. It is a subject of shame. And my heart goes out to him, to his family, and all those across this world who loved him. This was a terrible blow for him, for free speech, and for justice, and it makes many despair for the future of all those things, and my heart goes out to each and every one of them. Michael Maloney with a $2 super chat says, for anyone for freedom of speech. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Freedom of speech, essential. Absolutely essential. And Israel R. has been a channel member of mine for 19 months at the Dumentite level. Hail to you, Israel R. He says, hail DC and panel. So much has gone on lately, so I appreciated your support for us last week on Friday Night Frolics. Thank you, DC. God bless you all. God bless you, Israel R., who is, by the way, folks, a producer on tonight's Pop Culture Breakdown. Beyond a producer, really, because he also gifted 10 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. God bless you, Israel R., for doing that. We really appreciate it, man. Channel members are getting new, uncensored, and demonetized videos every single week. So it's a great time to be a channel member, folks. And thank you, Israel R., for gifting those. And he also gifted a $50 super chat to this channel. God bless you, Israel R. You are a producer tonight. And he says, hail, DC. I can't stay for the show, but dropping some channel support. See you next week. See you then, Israel R. God bless you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And Jack White with a $2 super chat. Hail to you, anime and manga expert. Jack White says, hail, my lord, new series recommendation, Tugen Anki. I'm assuming that this is an anime series. Tougen Anki, Anki. He offers suggestions. He tries to educate and spread the word, the gospel, if you will, of anime all over the place as best he can. And we certainly appreciate the heads up. All right. Well, talking about heads up, let's go ahead, if we could, and let's talk about let's talk about I don't know, what should we start with? Peacemaker or Alien Earth? What do you guys think?
Either way is fine to me.
Yeah.
I think I'm caught up on everything.
All right. Well, shit. Let's talk about Alien Earth, folks. First of all, Gary, so you're caught up on all this.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the flashback episode on the spaceship that explains all the shit that went wrong and the cyborg and all the shit that he did? I thought that was a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Overall, I'm not really enjoying this show anymore as I thought I would. What do I think of the basically remake of Alien? The original Alien was kind of an experiment. It was it's a monster in a house movie that's turned upside down. It's just basically a spaceship in space. And I know that we don't get a whole lot of character development in that movie, but at least we could identify with one character, and that one character was Ripley. And Ripley's goal was, hey, when they found out from the android, hey, we're going to take these things back to Earth, and she's like, the fuck you will. So then you're behind her at that point. And at this point in the show, I'm not behind anybody. I don't know what it's very bleak. There's a lot of character development of the people on the ship. Again, it's not for any particular reason, because there's no real driving story to me. Not if there is, it's not very gripping to me. It seems like a lot of filler to me. I've already seen Alien in that exact environment, which they recreated beautifully, by the way. I don't. It didn't help me appreciate the show anymore. I'm really I'm quite burned out on it, to tell you the truth.
Because you were quite positive on it earlier.
Yes, I mean, like I was like really like this could be going places. It seems like they were bridging into the world of Blade Runner, and it seemed like they were asking these interesting questions, and really I kind of like that. And it seems like that was their goal in this episode, was to say, hey, let's go back to Alien and give them what they wanted. But the problem is they gave us directly Alien. And I will say this. I did learn one positive thing about this episode that brought something new to the lore, which was I think they said that they tried to freeze the guy who had the chest burster, gestating in his chest.
Right.
And it still burst out. And then we're like, well, why the hell did that happen? Well, because they can't freeze the alien blood. It's like Freon. In other words, you can't freeze it. Therefore, that explains why it can survive the extreme cold temperature of space.
Exactly.
Which was kind of cool. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool to know. I like that. Really the animalistic grinding sex scene, it's like, do we really fucking need that? I mean, it's obvious to me that this woman actually cared for the captain. Why not show the captain sending her a little love note when he makes her coffee, and he makes it with a special creamer that she likes that's stored away on Z deck, somewhere, and they have a limited amount, just for you, hon. You make this trip worth traveling. You know what I mean? Like something. Why can't we show something romantic like that? Because the guy says, it's against the law to have a romantic relationship with anybody on the ship. And then, of course, she's spreading the dirt on the man that she loves, dead body. And then it cuts to them just grinding away like animals. It's like, come on, guys. Is that really what love and intimacy is? I guess so. But here's another question I have at this point. So if this is before Aliens, that means that the aliens are already on Earth for the bioweapons division for Weyland-Yutani. So why in the hell would they still want to bring back the specimens from LV-426 that they already fucking have on Earth?
Well, because we don't know the end. Probably they're all killed by the end.
Yeah, I guess. But see, that's the thing. And here's another thing. Do we know if the show has a planned ending?
I think the ending is they don't get the aliens.
Oh, wow. So if that's the case, so then I will have been investing 9 or 10 hours of my time into something that didn't matter in the lore.
Well,
I
in the
see.
lore, well, but I mean, the thing is, this is like a, kind of a planetary threatening, you know,
Yeah.
contagion. Like, I mean, beyond a certain point, it becomes irrelevant whether or not, they get to keep any. It's just like, oh shit, at this point, I mean, shit, one of them, well, it's on an island, but still, I think they can swim.
Right. And then that was another thing, a full alien in broad daylight. I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
nice rubber suit, bro. Like I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is not having the exciting thrill that it used to give me. Honestly, Doom, I don't know, man. I'm looking at this as kind of a big picture thing. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of burned out on it. I enjoyed the Alien Isolation game. I enjoyed being in that world because I was actually interacting in it, and it was terrifying to me because I'm hiding from everything, and I get all that. That's fun. But I can't really spend 9 hours staring at my TV watching this depressing shit just really kind of go downhill, and it's just not very interesting to me. I don't know, man. I'm struggling. I'm really
Well,
struggling.
I understand, and I gotta
Yeah.
say, I mean, I'll just go ahead and throw this out, folks. I'm with Gary. I was very much favorable to Alien Earth. I still see good things in it, but increasingly as each episode goes, and the actors, well, not the actors, the plot is getting increasingly stupid. The characters are doing really, really stupid things that, I'm not sure that they're going to have an explanation for. It's just really kind of, look, I kind of knew the minute that she, killed a xenomorph with a fucking paper cutter blade that we were in trouble. I mean, I used the phrase, jump the shark that week. Because once a character has killed an alien with a paper cutter, not even a proper machete, just something that's, an office paper cutter.
That was ridiculous.
It was bad. That's not good. That's bad. And look, it's just really taken me out of it. Some of the insane stupidity that is going on.
Yeah.
Like these scientists, look, it's been last week, right? So I think we can talk about this one where, well, first of all, Kirsch, the Nexus 6 guy with the white hair. I don't know what the fuck his deal is, but he allows all this shit to unfold without, telling anybody. He sends, dipshit, the $4 billion kid, Isaac or whatever, to go down and do the feeding of the aliens all by himself when he's, got the mentality of a child.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
But obviously he wanted this result. He wanted the aliens to basically get out for whatever. He just watches this with this passion, and he's even facilitating it at one point. But it doesn't appear like he's working for Wayland Yutani because he's still at odds with that cyborg. I don't know what his fucking deal is. But then a scientist who definitely should know better repeats the mistake of the dumb shit, which results in everything going to hell. Look, do they not have other people on the base? Don't they have security? Don't they have other scientists? Don't they have like some kind of protocol for this shit? So to stop this kind of boneheaded bullshit from happening, there is so much dumb shit. Like there's one point where they turn off the tracking of the individual, the kids, the android kids, the robot kids, whatever they are. And then they go, oh, we can't track them because it's been turned off. Well, turn it back on.
Yeah.
Put a Y in there instead of an N. Turn it back on, and Bob's your uncle. Your fucking problem is solved. What the fuck? How did this thing get so brain damaged?
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. So much stupidity. So much stupidity.
Yeah.
So
And it's really
there,
fucking, it's fucking with my enjoyment of the show, because at this point, there's a lot of fucking stupidity.
Yeah.
And you know, the commandos that come to raid, you know, the island. Well, that's an act of war by, you know, Utani Wayland against, you know, Prodigy. And that would be sufficient right there. You don't, Kirsch doesn't need, like, did they have a plan? They're armed commandos and they walk right into an ambush. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And what's up with, you know, Wendy like cooing and chirping at the fucking aliens now?
That was ridiculous.
You know, it's a girl and her dog
Yeah.
at this point. What's that you say? Timmy's down the well, lassie? Well, we're gonna. I'm having serious problems with this. Anything to add about the rest of it, or did that statement cover your? I mean, you know, you talked about episode 5, but in general,
Oh, that pretty much covers it. I mean, the
All
rest of it was just like, again, I can't. It's so slow and drawn out, and the story is. I can't see where it's going. I don't see how it's significant. I don't see how it's interesting or important. And it seems like they don't have a plan because they don't know whether they're going to be renewed for a season 2. So they don't know whether they should end it or not. See, that's the problem. You can't. It doesn't matter how many scenes you've been or how many seasons you've been greenlit. You have to have a start, work, and end. You have to. You have to have your story, and you have to know how it ends. Otherwise, you're just scrapbooking, you know.
100%. Rob, any now you said you kind of like this last episode, but I have many problems and questions. What do you think?
So for me, overall it's been okay, but like it's been hit or miss. So episode 5 I thought was good with where you go back to Alien. Episode 6 was, with the exception of a couple things, was just boring and crappy. I mean, you have Bigfoot and his big meeting with the other person. Well, it landed in my territory. I don't really care. You know, that didn't have to be as drawn out as it was. Just really dumb. The only good scenes in that episode were the standoff between the two cyborg guys, and then the freaking eye in the sheep is the coolest thing in there. You have the
crafty
bugs,
little spot, isn't he?
Yeah, you have the bugs that go after the android, but really the eye creature kind of did something to close the door, and that was interesting. And then you have the bugs going after the android, and I'm like, what? So that was kind of goofy. And then this episode that we had last night, parts of it were really good. It's interesting, the Wendy character being able to speak to the alien, but what they do with it, where the whole thing turning off their tracking, but they don't get to the ship and get away. And then you've got a couple of other things going on. They're like, you're violating canon here. What are you doing? And then, you know, the Nexus 6 guy letting them get away. Parts of it were interesting. The part that was interesting about last night was, again, the eye and the sheep, and the main guy's looking at it, and he makes a decision. Maybe I should put it in a human instead of a sheep, so I can communicate with it. That's interesting. That's something that's sparking my curiosity there. I'm interested in that story more so than what's going on with the kids, because you just had the kids escaping or trying to escape and then getting caught, and it fell flat. That storyline. The interesting storyline is the other aliens in this, besides the aliens we're used to, and that's what I'm watching it for. The finale's next week.
The finale's next week.
Yeah.
With all the questions we have, Sean, any input on this?
Welcome to Jurassic Alien Park.
Yeah.
That's basically what this is. I like I said, I was really enjoying it, but now, and now that Supergirl Boss Android is doing Supergirl Boss Android stuff, and she does some awful shit in this. We don't have a protagonist in this story. It just dawned on me there is no good guy in this. There's no one to root for. It's just here. Look at this cool setting we have, and look at the dangly keys of the Nostromo, and look and. I mean the blonde, the white haired android guy. I really like him even now. Like he's the best. Him and the sheep are the cool parts. But there's no one to root for here, and I don't know where are they going to go with this. Where's it going? And then you have these androids going cuckoo, killing people. I can't see how they're going to wrap this up.
Sean, just for clarity, you said white hair guy and the sheep, not in the sheep, right? Just
Take
wanted to make
And
No,
yes,
not talking about you, Andy. Calm down.
Yes, your secret is safe. Still,
Andy, you're a bad boy.
yes.
Where's my overalls and my straw hat?
Doug, this week kind of confirmed to more of an extent my feeling that the eyeball creature has the ability to subtly influence you mentally. Like if you're inclined to do something, it can kind of nudge you over the edge, because it's really the only explanation for a number of things. Like when that scientist opens up, sees the dead hybrid in there, his inclination would be, oh my God, the poor kid, I gotta get it out of there. But his better judgment would say, well, of course, fuck, I can't do that. Or I need to have backup to do that. I have to have a suit and everything else. But because it's his emotional knee-jerk reaction, it's not out of the realm of this thing's ability to influence him to momentarily indulge in that impulse. Just like I think that the eyeball kind of pushed, Kid Cavalier into the idea, I'll put it into a human and give it a better brain to work with. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that's possible? Because just like I didn't leave the jar lid tight in the previous escape, right?
Right. I suppose that it didn't use that on the androids because it doesn't work with them. So that's why he had to smash the window to scare the kid to get himself locked in there and all that. So I suppose so. Plus, he's probably giving his overall opinion of the show with his, end statement in that episode. When they were discussing pie and he left a pie, and that was kind of the period of his statement. So it's possible that's what that was.
Yes. The plop of shit displays a sense of irony and humor that the sheep possesses that the show ordinarily does not.
Yeah. Alien Earth, all along, I said, well, it's got a lot of cool stuff. There's some fascinating, interesting ideas. It made one of the great points of what do you do after Aliens? It's like, well, you got to answer that question. What's the next story? And it expands on the universe, creates more avenues of story and perhaps and that sort of thing, possibilities. But ultimately, it came down to, is the good outweighed by the stupid? and increasingly, there's probably each episode is like, well, this is really, oh damn it, oh geez, and then this is oh damn it, oh geez, and that kind of thing. And I at the time I was a bit, I did my review already and put it out there and all that, and I didn't realize, I thought there were 10 episodes. There's only one more, and I'm like, wow, oh no, because you got Wendy, who is beyond superpowered. The things she's doing right from the get-go, where she just touches the screen and can take over the computer and stuff. She can suddenly talk to the alien and all that. And the other androids can't. They don't do anything like that. So
she's a Mary Sue.
Exactly. You've got to explain that. And now you've got one episode. And God help, if this is the cliffhanger episode and it doesn't resolve it, I no,
Yeah.
you just can't do that, you know. So as far as continuity things, yeah, I just, you know, obviously the island cannot survive this. Everything is wiped out. It does fit in. It could still fit in with that. The company knew about the xenomorphs when they sent the Nostromo there. They wanted it, you know, so they had some pre-knowledge somehow, some way. And since then we've, you know, and Prometheus and all that. And so it would fit in that way. But yeah, they got to do that. If they're just going to leave it open and say, gee, we'll get another season. I see with the things they've introduced, you could do a second season that's all about the octopus, like it escapes, you know, when it's out there somewhere. And that's a whole other story, to where basically the xenomorph was just sort of a guest star in its own show. It's octopus with a special guest star, xenomorph, you know, and that's about it. But beyond that, yeah. And as far as, are there any heroes? Well, you get Joe. Skinny poor Joe, who's realizing, oh, this isn't really my sister, is it? Because at this point you can't make Wendy a hero. She's not, and she's crossed the line here. And there you are. And discovering that this is all a scam. There is no immortality with these androids, and they're not who they thought they were, and they're all going to end up like the poor little redhead girl. You know, they're going to go nuts, and they're very dangerous with their abilities and whatnot. So it's all monsters except for poor stupid Joe.
Yeah, it was kind of pathetic the way he like looks up at her, and you know, she's fuming, and he's like, oops.
Yeah. Oh, gee, I really screwed up here, didn't I? Yeah, you did. But don't worry, everybody else did too. You know, even Boy Cavalier, who walks into this devastated lab with all kinds of, you know, parasites loose and whatnot, and he still won't put shoes on. What an idiot, you know. Oh, but I'm a genius. Yeah, he's gonna end up with octopus in his head, you know that.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. But you know, so there was, and now I'm beginning to worry. Yes, I don't know that they can do a satisfying conclusion that, you know, explains things and sets it up, and it's fine that way. Increasingly so. Ultimately, the judgment will be, yeah, the stupid outweighed the good, and that's unfortunate. But I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough time to
do it,
to fix it.
Right. And that Kirsch. So it's like, oh, he's up to something. What's he doing? And then that's how I don't know how they resolve that. What are you doing? You know? So
yeah,
it almost had the chance to be, albeit a distant third, but probably the best follow-up to Alien since Aliens.
Yeah.
You know? But again, too much stupid. And once again, the music, these damn rock songs.
Well, that's,
you know, they kept doing
quibble.
That.
I know.
Don't go full Disney Plus Willow. You never go full Disney Plus Willow. Even Disney Plus figured that out and banned the show.
Lest you go the way of Willow and be completely written off as a tax loss. Andy Masterson, did you see these last couple of episodes of Alien Earth? Any thoughts on it?
I did. I think there's some subtle references to Peter Pan in this.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's weird. I was picking up a slight vibe like that. You know, it kind of hooked me.
Yeah, like the cyborg guy with the hand that can turn into the knife, and probably a hook too. Maybe we'll see with that, and maybe like the xenomorphs are kind of like the crocodiles. That could be something. Yeah, I think it's kind of been stretched out a little too long in trying to make something interesting about characters that are like, you know, they're kind of thin, they're kind of, you know, which is interesting because like we don't have that representation there. There's no one that's not thin in this. It's like you know, they actually cracked a nutrition code in the future. But it's funny because like these things, they just kind of meander. It's like this should have been like maybe a 2-hour movie. But yet again, here we go into 8 episodes, an hour long, and man, I think it's a crossover with Idiocracy with the crew of the Nostromo. Um, they were just really, really, really dumb. I mean, you go in there, you got these aliens, they do all kinds of funky stuff, and you go in there, we have to operate right away without our hazmat suits. Yeah, that just, it doesn't seem like a really, really good idea. For something that had such a nice start to it, where it looked promising. I said this to Gary yesterday. It was like this. I just got really bored with it. There wasn't anything that's like, I'm watching this and it's, you know, what's the point? It's like, are we trying to see how, look, the androids have this potential to kind of like, well, did we program them to be bad guys and just fascinated with what these creatures can do to humanity? Or was that intentional the whole time? And so we see um, not so Roy Batty kind of manipulating things. We see the other stuff with uh, the little red haired girl, like ruin Charlie Brown's day and rip everybody's throat out. It's just like it's too little, too late, and there's like Sean pointed, there's no characters to root for. There's nobody. There is no Ripley who just wants to do the right thing. I mean, and we've got Joe who's like, look, yeah, yet again another inept male. That the only one that's not being villainous is like him and the other guy that had the chest burster. He was being but he was kind of wimpy too. He didn't like I mean, I don't know what you can do to Mark Zuckerberg there if you stand up to him because you're just going to get fired. But I don't know. It's it's very nihilistic. It's very kind of depressing. It's like it's not fun to watch anymore. Um, I guess what's going to happen is like clearly there was still an Earth in Aliens, or so we think that. So the cute little friendly pet alien is going to have to buy the farm, and the little other baby alien is going to have to get squished because, well, they wouldn't have to go looking for more if they already had some. It's kind of like that whole Holy Grail thing. Like, I told them we already have one. They just don't. It's too little spread over too much. I'm really looking forward to the end of it because it's going to be the end of it.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It'd probably be a cliffhanger for another thrilling season of Alien Earth. Unfortunately, the thing is, I actually did a poll today. I was asking people, I'm curious. 7 episodes in, what do you guys think about? You all right? Everything all
Yeah,
right?
that was a puppy.
Okay. What do you guys think about Alien Earth? And 65.1% replied, I haven't seen it. So 65% of the people online who, follow this kind of thing aren't even watching Alien Earth. I'm enjoying Alien Earth. It was 16.9% of people that responded, and I don't like Alien Earth was 18%. So it's a kind of a mixed bag there, it's interesting. I don't know.
I was tempted to respond to your poll. Like, is there an option for I was enjoying Alien Earth?
Yeah, well, I think that would be no, but I don't know. I'm not encouraged. I'm not encouraged. All right. Well, talking about not being encouraged, let's talk about Peacemaker. So, like I said, I was a huge fan of season 1 of Peacemaker. And right now, it's okay. I'm not excited about it. Season 2, it's kind of, it's okay. I don't know what to say about it. I don't have any detailed thoughts about it because not a whole lot is really going on. Peacemaker just wants to live in this other reality. He wants to, get with the blonde Harcourt, who he was with in the other dimension. I guess the coolest thing that's happened this season was when the, terrorist guys took control of the building and were wiring it to blow, and Peacemaker, armed with nothing, not even his, helmet and costume, just goes in there and takes out those fuckers. That was pretty fucking cool. That was pretty fucking cool. The things that he did. The rest of it, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's there. So I'm interested to hear everybody's opinion about it. I guess if season 1 of Peacemaker was like a 9.5, I give this maybe I don't know, 6.5, something like that. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not suffering. I'm not terribly bored by it like I was, on some things on Disney Plus, but yeah, it's not making me it's Star Trek Legos. What do you think, Gary?
Well, I was absolutely disgusted by the first episode for obvious reasons. I've seen that James Gunn has announced that the show is officially a prequel to the next Superman, which I think is just extremely inappropriate. I as far as the show itself, again, I don't. I'm not a Peacemaker guy. I think this is their Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not working for me. I don't know why Peacemaker gets 2 seasons of a show and Superman gets a movie every 5 years if we're lucky. I think I'm not interested. It's the scenes that are in between what little action sequences there are. It seems like there are these characters like sitting in the back of a surveillance van talking about idiosyncrasies and stuff like that, and it's supposed to be funny and lighthearted. It's not funny. I still can't really follow what's going on in the story. Again, very slow. It's like they have a concept for a movie and they stretch it out for 8 or 9 hours. It's not interesting. It's not interesting to me. I don't feel like I'm watching a comic book show, or it's not very interesting to look at. It looks kind of cheap. There was a scene, and I think it was the second episode, where they're cutting up the doppelganger, and they're playing music and they're hacking him up, and like the guy who's cleaning him up is dancing while he's mopping. I'm like, is that supposed to be funny? I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of things in the show that just don't land.
Yeah.
I watch Peacemaker and his poor sad me moments all the time. He's trying to get back together with this gal, and like, who cares? I'm really uninterested in this show. The first season was pretty funny, and it was like, he's different than Deadpool. He's kind of like, he wants to actually be a good and decent person, but he's kind of crass and vulgar, and that's kind of funny. He's a little bit thick-headed, which I thought was hilarious. Now it just seems it's like every other word is fuck just because. It just seems filthy, and I don't know, just the tone, it doesn't hit for me. It's definitely not for kids, but it's not interesting enough for an adult. I don't know, man. I'm not into it. I really am not.
No, I hear you. I mean, I would say, just analyzing it, that season 2 doesn't have the narrative drive that season 1 did. This invasion that's going on, all of the twists. It was a wild ride, and it never really slowed down. It just kind of kicked ass. And like you said, it was a lot funnier. It was a lot more dynamic. Even the opening credits were vastly superior to the opening one this time.
Yeah.
and that's the big problem. This one does not have the same intensity, the same overarching narrative. It doesn't seem to have any particular plot other than, you know, he's got this closet and it's causing ripples, and they're trying to shut it down. That's it. I mean, that's basically it. And it's just, you know, it's like, well, you know, I was laughing my ass off in season 1. Now I'm occasionally chuckling, and in season 2, it's just that's it. And I'm tired of the hangdog shit. I'm tired of everybody being, you know, dour and down. And I hate that little shit. The one in the green outfit, nasty fucking little shit. What a fucking asshole that guy is.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't know, guys. I'm a little I'm quite disappointed.
Right.
Rob, anything to add?
So I didn't like episodes 1 or 2. 3 was actually watchable. I thought 3, you know, he did some good things, but he's in this other dimension. And then 4 kind of fell flat because it's hard to take a threat seriously and really see it as an interesting part of the show when everybody's making jokes and it's more slapstick comedy and stupid, goofy stuff rather than any kind of real plot line. It feels like a bunch of sketches at this point now. And then, you know, he's got a thing that can move the portals. Okay, well, you just conveniently changed the direction of the story. So what is the point of this whole thing if he can just move it? I don't think it was well written out. It feels like just a series of, oh, would it be cool if we did this? Would it be cool if we did this? And it's just, where's it going? And I'm having a hard time staying interested in it because you're not telling me a story about where is this character going or what are they doing? And, you know, why is it so important that they go after him? Why couldn't they have had another approach and talk to him about it? And maybe he refuses to let him have the portal or something like that. I don't know. It's just kind of, you've taken your MacGuffin and you've not done anything with it. And you've kind of destroyed its relevance now because of just everything that you've already done. So I don't know where it's going. And I'm not excited to find out. I'm to the point where I'm almost fully checked out of this show.
Yeah, I hear you. I know that our time with Doug Nelson, the idol of millions, is limited. So Doug, we'll cut to you next, real quick, buddy. What do you think of this last episode or two, wherever we haven't covered a piece? They all kind of blend together, don't they?
They do, and because this is now we're a couple of episodes in, so I'm like, well, it's basically a somewhat uninspired, lackluster copy of the first season. You know, it's just you know, just like, hey, remember when that was cool? You know, yeah. It's not really working for you if you don't have any ideas and stuff. So it's like I'm pretty much the same as you. I laughing my ass off at the first one. Here there's a chuckle or two here and there, you know, like the bird, you know, like Tim Meadows, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. And but it's just not nearly enough. And it's like and this is another one of those. Yeah, it probably should just be a movie, you know, because they just don't have the material for it as they slog through and don't really get anywhere. And it says, oh boy, he's in love with Harcourt, but she's not reciprocating it. But oh, she's dealing with issues because she can't get a job. Right. Yeah. Oh, and, you know, and then of course always the toothpick limb supermodel who beats the crap out of Navy SEALs. I can't take any more of those scenes. I just can't deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Even though, hey, it's over the top. He's got a bird who answers his commands and stuff. It's just too much of that. And so it's a shame. And if you don't really have the ideas, and I guess they probably just signed up season 2 because, oh God, the first one got some good numbers for the streaming service. So, you know, but you got to have some ideas and whatnot. And then on top of it, to have it any chance, that opening bisexual orgy thing. And I was just like, oh my God, hey, look, the sequel to Superman. That's a tough one to come back from. So I don't know. They'll probably have a funny ending, I guess. We'll save the best for last. And already I'm just like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure at now the mindset I'm in now of what they're going to tell us what the other world is, wink, wink.
We already know.
I think we do.
called that on the whole rainbow creature thing way back.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I don't have the mood for it anymore, and so this is probably the last of Peacemaker.
Yeah. I'm afraid it's past its shelf life. Can you stick around a few more minutes, or do we need to say goodnight to you now?
I guess I can do a couple of more minutes. Yeah.
Well, let's let Sean have his turn. Sean, what'd you think of this?
I will say, I mean, the last 2 episodes I enjoyed more than the first 3.
Yeah.
But that's not saying much. And I mean, do you guys remember when we used to get 22 to 26 episodes on a weekly basis of something, and now we get 8 to 10 every 3 years, and it's not even good. I like I said, I enjoyed a little bit of some of the action was better, and all that stuff. It's just like I think it was Gary said, it just spread so thin, and it feels like James Gunn says, "Hey, I've got a lot of spiffy jokes here that he thought were good, and they're like, hey, I need episodes to put them in because that's what I want."
Mm-hmm.
It is really lame.
Yeah.
Not interesting. It's not. I like we're all struggling to say how mid this is, and it's just mid.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It just sounds like he enjoys listening to himself talk.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah.
It really does. It really feels like that. So, like Andy said, looking forward to the ending because it's going to end. Well, that was for Alien, but yeah, that's my take. I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, no, I hear you. We're about to say goodnight to Doug. Andy, do you have anything to say about Peacemaker before we do?
Michael Rooker dressed up as the Indian priest in that little
Yeah.
song thing. I don't know that I needed to see that. I think James Gunn has more of a John Waters type sense of humor and sensibilities. I don't know if he's ready for prime time. Hopefully he doesn't have anybody clean up after the dog.
Oh no.
Not to give you any ideas, James, because we don't need that. But yeah, it's kind of like you have like, all right, you get a dirtbag character, and you got to put him next to somebody who's like upstanding and wholesome. It's kind of like why Gary and I hang out at these conventions together, because I can be like off color and stuff like that, and he can be like, he can give me the look of like, did you really just say that? It's like, and you don't have that in this. Like, again, we're running into this category of like, who's likable in this show? Who's the guy who you're really rooting for? It's like I don't want to see Peacemaker get all mopey and stuff like that. I don't want to see him like being all like lost puppy dog eyes and stuff like that. That's kind of dumb. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's and especially to tie this in the Superman, and it's coming out on what you call it, the Warner Brothers thing.
HBO.
Yeah, HBO Max. Yeah, it's coming out for this Friday. And if you have like people that all right, we've talked about like, this obviously isn't for kids. But what happens if you've got like some parents out there who are like kind of, very upstanding, church going, non-swearing, and they, oh wow, this is tied in with Superman.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't want to go and buy these toys. There's certain people that just aren't necessarily cut out for, and look, when you're doing that thing, you got to play the part. You have to do what you have to do when you're appealing to a larger audience. When you're a niche guy and you have your niche audience, that's fine. There's not a whole lot of people outside of John Waters fans that have seen John Waters films. But when you put it in mainstream and you put like the Pink Flamingos on Channel 6 on Sunday night, all of a sudden there's a lot of people scratching their head and wondering what's going on at Disney, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
I agree. And I would just say, in regards to that John Waters comment, just bear in mind, to poop is canine, to partake divine.
God.
I hope that helps. And along those lines, let's bid good night to Doug Nelson. Yes, to poop is canine, to partake divine. Your comments on that. Go ahead and plug away, my friend.
Jeez. Boy, how to follow up divine poop. But I'll do it the usual way. The podcast is the Mr. Nelson Show on RadioMisfits.com or wherever you get your podcasts. The channel is the Nelson Ratings. Oh, yeah. And, of course, if you want more Nelson stuff, you can go to the NelsonRatings.locals.com. Sign up. There's all kinds of goodies there. Of course, there's a lot of them are behind the paywall, but you know how it is. Dougie's got to eat. And also, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up those. Look at what Rob's holding there. Look at the happiness it brings him. My goodness. Yes, you too could be as happy as Rob. All you got to do is head over to indieplanet.com and look up Night Night and get your copies of Night Night today. So there you go. And a final note, sometimes you say things that are really stupid and you might make an off-color joke. God knows I've done it. And when I really feel like I've hurt somebody, I apologize for it. Yes. That's what you do. It doesn't after your closely held beliefs and truths and whatnot, but I don't want to hurt anybody, but if I did, I do apologize for it.
That's what Jack Burton says, and that's what Doug Nelson says. 100%, dude. 100%. Just apologize. Be man enough to apologize for your stupid posts and your insensitive drivel. Or you could get canceled by ABC. Just like Jimmy Kimmel. I don't even know what his show was called. Up with Jimmy, up yours, Jimmy Kimmel, up with Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know what it's called. But anyway, thank you for being here tonight, Doug. We appreciate you, brother.
Well, it's my pleasure, Doomcock. Everybody have a good rest of your night, and we'll do this again next week.
100%, Doug.
Night, Doug.
Good night, my friend. God bless you, buddy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Doug.
Good night.
All right. Well, we're about to go into Super Chats, and we're going to talk about our movie that we love this week. But before we do, let us spare a few kind words and some thoughts for the great Robert Redford. He was, he was a true movie star in a time when movie stars are pretty much extinct in any real sense of the word. He was so many movies that he killed in. They're almost, it would be hard to even think of them all, mention them all. But I got to say, for me personally, The Sting is my favorite Robert Redford movie. It's flawless. It's just a great film. But of course, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, for God's sakes, is one of the great classics. Jeremiah Johnson. He has so many different things. He was even some Marvel movies. The Natural is a great one. Had a great score. And I just thought that we could go around and just say farewell to an actor that can rightly be called an icon. Let's just start with Gary. Anything to say about Robert Redford?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this guy was, women just loved this guy. I mean, just loved him. He's so darn handsome. He was so charming, and he had an acting style that I've never seen anyone replicate ever. You know, often imitated, never replicated. I'm not just saying that to kiss his ass because he's gone. He seriously was a very unique actor. I think that he helped really launch the visibility of independent film. Sundance Film Festival, although it turned into, a hoity-toity sort of exclusive club, was sort of, like when Hollywood was the only kid on the block, he sort of, said, well, hey, let's go make our own movies over here. And that model is still imitated with the smaller festivals, but still, it was kind of the first guy to do that, to really put the control of a project into the performers and the creators' hands. Yeah, man. Even back to the Twilight Zone. What a terrific actor, and will always be remembered and cherished. One of the greatest movie stars that ever lived, and great director.
100%. Rob, anything to say about Robert Redford?
Oh, what an icon! What a true movie star! So many wonderful movies, even in roles and movies that he had bit parts. He was great. I love, of course, The Natural, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, The Sting. Just such an amazing actor. Always good to watch on the big screen. Gary said it all with what he did for small cinema and bringing the arts back to it at a time when it needed it. Just what a true great actor and a movie star that transcended generations. My parents' generation, my generation, and even onward.
Absolutely. Sean, any thoughts on Robert Redford?
Yeah, just nothing but good movies and stuff from him. And I was very happy to read that he lived to 89, made a great run, and he was fortunate enough to have passed in his sleep. And you can't ask for anything more and fitting, and just what a great guy.
Yeah, he definitely was. Jill, anything to say about Robert Redford? Were you a fan?
Well, there's so much of him that I haven't seen. Unfortunately, I'm a kid from the 90s, so most of what I know from him is the movie Indecent Proposal. And so that's what I know him from because that's my generation. But I am reviewing The Twilight Zone, as Gary mentioned, and of course and Rob Wright knows he's in an episode of season 3, which I'm reviewing season 3 now. We haven't quite got to his episode. It's going to be Nothing in the Dark, and I'll make sure to pay special respect to him when I review that.
Sounds good. Sounds very good. Andy, anything to say about Robert Redford?
That bastard. One of the handsomest guys that ever lived. What a terrible life having all these women just throw themselves at you all the time. How exhausting it could be. Man, what a great, and it's funny because we know Robert Redford did get political and stuff like, but he didn't shove it down your throat and he didn't belittle people that he disagreed with. He would state his points and he wouldn't, be obnoxious about things. He was a tremendous talent, and your eyes were just glued to him on the screen. The first thing I ever saw him in was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid when I was little, and watching things like Brubaker and Waldo Pepper, of course, The Sting, all such a great body of work that this guy did, and he was just so likable when he was on screen. He was just like, and even off screen, he never said anything that would tarnish his reputation and just come across as rude or obnoxious. I think we should all kind of take a page out of that book and try and be a little bit better as far as like what we put out there for a face outside of humor, of course. But it's he was a tremendous talent, and living to 89 years old and going in your sleep. Well, it's certainly better than David Carradine, but yeah, he had a great run, and you can't feel bad for a guy that had that kind of success, that kind of impact, and to go out after such a long run peacefully in your sleep. Rest in peace, sir. You earned it.
Absolutely, absolutely true. So rest in peace, Robert Redford, and yeah, well, we'll never forget him, will we? As long as there are movies out there, we will always remember the great Robert Redford. All right, folks. Well, let's go ahead and get to some of these super chats here, and then we will get to the movie that we love this week. All right, folks, we got some super chats here. Let's get right to them. Michael Maloney with a $5 super chat. Hail, Michael. He says the revenge of cancel culture. It's also a culture issue. Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good point, Michael Maloney. And I appreciate you making it, sir. It's always great to see you out there in the chat and hanging out with us on Friday Night Frolics and Pop Culture Breakdown. Good to see you, man. And Jack White with a $5 super chat and two $5 super chats. Hail to you, Jack. He says, a new manga recommendation, Rebel Hero. I will use my skills to control the scheming princess's heart and body. He says, I went and saw the first part of the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle arc movie trilogy last Thursday night, and I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, man, that's great. I've heard great things about Demon Slayer, and at some point I hope to find the time to check that out, because it sounded pretty damn good. Hail to you, Jack White. Always great to hear from you, my friend, and I hope that you will be around tomorrow for the Archvillain live stream that we're having. Michael Beacom with a $5 super chat. Hail, Michael Beacom. He says, once upon a time, there was this thing called a dial. It was on my TV. When I did not like what was on, I turned the dial and ta-da, something else was on. I know, man. And yet our crash test smarty, Doug Nelson, insists on watching every horrible thing that comes on, including Suck New Worlds, including Secret Invasion. My God, I'm surprised the man has a ounce of strength or a brain cell left in his body. But hey, if we could all be crash test smarties, well, it would be easy then, wouldn't it? And it ain't nothing easy about that. Blackie Blackerson with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Blackie. He says, we ain't found shit. Well, now we have. It's Tim Russ. Thank you, Blackie Blackerson. Hail to you, sir. I appreciate that. And you are quite correct. It's sad, but true. Warachi gifted 5 Overlord DVD memberships to this channel. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Warachi. We got 16 new members tonight, folks. And just in time, I'm going to be putting out a new channel member video tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So all you channel members, be ready to watch that. Udite1 has been a channel member for 19 months. Hail to you, Udite1. He says, you must also remember that TV jobs are dependent on ratings too. It's not a job someone is entitled to keep. If they don't bring views, and Kimmel was definitely going to lose most of his grounds for firing just for that. Very true. Very true. I mean, you get involved in this shit and well, you collapse. I mean, that's just that's showbiz, that's showbiz. John the Beagle Dad has been a channel member 45 months at the Dumentite level. Hail to you, John the Beagle Dad. He says employers are afraid of being sued. Trump has shown the way. The last lawsuit settled with Trump. Hail to you, John the Beagle Dad. Thank you, sir, for that. And yes, they do have that element to think about these days as well. Michael Beacom with 2 $5 super chats in a row. I want to thank you very much, Michael, for those super chats, brother. Michael Beacom says, regarding free speech, John Kay, Martin Luther, and Bobby, people had the right to say whatever they wanted, but no one went on national media to diss them. That is true. That is very true. And Michael Beacom also adds, please stop calling Russ a Star Trek icon. He was never a convincing Vulcan to me, ever. Well, that's interesting. I thought he was a pretty good Vulcan. Before all this shit, I really thought that being a Vulcan is a difficult task for an actor. And I thought that he was pretty damn good at it, in my opinion. I just think he should have had a SP name, or an S name, with a S and a K. I don't know where Tuvok came from, but well, maybe he was a different sect or something that, didn't follow the way. I don't know.
In any case, Tuvok's always going to be a better person than Tim Russ.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Unfortunately, it's going to be difficult to see them as separate, but I'll try. Jack White with a $10 super chat and a $20 super chat, which I think makes Jack White a producer tonight. Hail to you, Jack White. Appreciate this, my friend. Hail to you. He says, this is the result of the new atheist movement that came around in the 90s and 2000s. People like Sam Harris, who were left an F ton of money by his parents, arguing that religion was the source of all evil, and saying that getting rid of religion, the world would be so much better, completely either unaware or ignoring that particular theory was already completely disproven by the largely secular regimes of the 20th century. See, in addition to being an expert on anime and manga and games, Jack White also is something of a political scholar. Historical scholar is what I meant to say. Historical scholar. Hail to you, Jack White, and thank you for that, man. Appreciate it. Michael Whitehead with a very kind 20-pound super chat. Hail to you, Michael Whitehead. He says, you have no idea what you have unleashed. Mrs. Kirk, I have a theory. Employers been afraid to fire a woke mob for fear of being canceled. Woke mob celebrates that event. Employers now have legitimate reasons to fire them. This is something I've heard. Oddly enough, this is something I've heard, that now a lot of employers are able to get rid of these fucking idiots that wanted to get rid of them, but they were too chicken shit to do it just because of the woke. Now they have something to point to in a lot of cases where they say, you know what? That is inappropriate. Your fucking ass is gone. Isn't that wild, Michael Whitehead? And Michael Whitehead also has a part 2 to that super chat with a 10-pound super chat. Thank you, Michael. He says, woke mob loses power hold and their power base. No one cares for them anymore. The silent majority has woken up to woke now, and there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. I hope that's true, man. I hope that's true. I've been saying for a couple of years now that woke is on the ropes. That woke is definitely losing ground. And I think this may have actually accelerated that process in the way you're describing. Thank you, Michael Whitehead. I appreciate that, man. And producer Jack White adds with another $10 super chat. He says the red and fascist regimes, to be exact. And as a result of what the Harris types were pushing, you now have a bunch of people who have filled in that particular hole with politics and government. Thank you again, Jack White. I really appreciate that. He's talking about the secular regimes of the 20th century, basically disproving the notion that getting rid of religion will make everything better. Apparently, it does not really do that. Thank you, Jack White. And Saul Shymek with a $5 super chat. Hail, Saul Shymek says, Robert Chakotay Beltran had some very nice things to say about Charlie on X. That is all. Yeah, Beltran apparently is more of a class act. Were you going to say something, Jill?
He's always been a really great person, for sure, in terms of the way that he speaks to people, and a great sense of humanity from him. And sometimes he gets flack for it. Like, people have criticize him for being a good person. I don't know how that works exactly.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, there's a lack of tolerance that's rampant in our world, especially on social media, which is a cesspool that makes Mos Eisley Spaceport look like 1950s Disneyland. So what are you gonna do? Michael Maloney with a $2 super chat. Is echoing my sentiments about Voyager, which says Neelix grows on you like fucking warts. Yeah, I could not stand Neelix. Never could stand Neelix. And now I kind of wish that
Yeah.
Tuvix had been a thing they were stuck with.
But there was this really creepy thing between Tuvix and Kess. So as long as Kess still leaves the show, then I'm okay with Tuvix.
There you go. There you go. I just Voyager was substandard. I'll just say that. Of course, no Trek makes Voyager look like genius, but I didn't particularly care for most of Voyager. Jack White, producer Jack White, with a $2 super chat and a $20 super chat, 2 in a row. Thank you, Jack White. He says, Barnes of Even Barnes moved out of Vegas for a reason. He's moved back to his hometown in Tennessee, and as a result of the Kirk assassination, Barnes is planning to do more campus appearances. So some interesting information for anyone who might be interested. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that, man. And Royals fan 1985 says, Kimmel is off the air. What a great day it is. Well, yeah, old Jimmy. He fucked around, and I guess he found out. What are you gonna do? All right, I tell you what. Let's go ahead now. I'm gonna go ahead and rearrange things here, and let's go ahead and talk about this week's movie that we love. And that movie, ladies and gentlemen, is the Clint Eastwood classic, Magnum Force. A great, great film. All the Dirty Harry movies have something to recommend them. I love, Clint Eastwood. He honestly, Unforgiven is one of my favorite Westerns of all time, one of the greatest Westerns ever made. He's consistently not only an interesting actor, but an interesting director as well. A very talented guy. Gary, have you got some notes about this movie to share with us today?
Oh yeah, we got some good stuff. Let's get into it.
All right.
Okay, guys. Magnum Force. Well, you're a good man, Lieutenant, and a good man always knows his limitations. Starring Rowdy Yates, that guy who always plays Mark Twain, Otter from Animal House, and the dude from Ice Pirates. Produced on a $7 million budget, pissing off all of the critics and bringing in over $44 million during its worldwide theatrical release, surpassing the original Dirty Harry by an $8 million lead. How about that?
Wow.
First time a sequel's ever done that. The concept of vigilante cops was actually proposed in a script written by Terrence Malick for the first Dirty Harry film, which depicted Scorpio not as a psychopath, but as a masked vigilante who hunted down corrupt officials and wealthy criminals who had escaped justice. This idea was rejected by Dirty Harry director Don Siegel. Eastwood did, however, keep the idea in mind for the sequel, which would not only escalate the story beyond the original, but would later act as a counterpoint to some of the critical reception that Callahan was taking the law into his own hands in the first film. John Milius was hired to write the screenplay. He took inspiration from the vigilante lynchings in California in the 1930s, the Newhall cop killers, which were executed by California Highway Patrol in 1970, and the Sao Paulo Death Squad in Brazil, which were a group of off-duty police officers who killed somewhere between 500 to 1,000 petty criminals in 1970.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
Although he did complete his draft, Milius was hired to direct Dillinger the same year and had to switch his efforts to that production. Silent running screenwriter and future director of The Deer Hunter, Michael Cimino, was hired to add a few extra scenes and polish off the final script. Ooh, hello. Where was I? Although Clint was offered by Warner Brothers to direct the film himself, he turned it down, and longtime Eastwood collaborator Ted Post, who had worked with the actor since Rawhide, was instead hired to direct by Malpaso Productions. The title of the film was changed from Vigilance to Magnum Force, giving an anonymous name to the group of vigilante cops whose weapon of choice was a .357 Magnum. Robert Urich, Tim Matheson, Kip Niven, and David Soul appear as the vigilante squad. All went on to massive movie and television careers, and it was his role in this film that led David Soul to be cast as Detective Ken Hutchison in the popular TV series Starsky and Hutch.
Wow.
Albert Popwell, who played the lucky punk in Dirty Harry, appears as a pimp who is killed by the vigilante cops. Popwell appeared in 4 of the 5 Dirty Harry films, playing a black militant leader in The Enforcer and Horace, Harry's partner in Sudden Impact. The character of Sunny, a beautiful Japanese girl played by Adele Yoshioki, who lives in the same apartment building as Harry, was added to the script due to an overwhelming influx of letters from female fans requesting a lady character to, quote, hit on Harry, as well as offering Eastwood sexual favors. Suzanne Summers appears as a topless... Oh, God. As a cold in there. Suzanne Summers appears as a topless bathing beauty that gets shot while swimming at a pool party. Apparently, Apollo Creed himself, Carl Weathers, can be seen in the background protesting the result of the Rika court case at the beginning of the film. How about that? For the car and motorcycle chase scenes, veteran stunt driver Kerry Lofton was hired to haul his way through the hills of San Francisco. Lofton was one of the coordinators for the infamous San Francisco chase in Bullet. One of the stuntmen featured in the Palancio hit series or scene is Johnny Weissmuller Jr., son of the 5-time Olympic gold medalist who played Tarzan in 12 feature films. Also doubling for Eastwood is Buddy Van Horn, who was Clint's go-to double, the second unit director of this movie, and the driver of the murderous truck in Steven Spielberg's Duel. If you were ever wondering who was driving that truck, it was stunt coordinator turned director Buddy Van Horn.
Wow.
Knew that. Although he did have a stunt double, seen on the hood of Palancio's car as it accelerates at dangerously high speeds is Clint Eastwood himself, who did many of his own stunts throughout the film. Although the standard San Francisco Police Department motorcycle was a Harley-Davidson, the production used a combination of Moto Guzzi Eldorado and Triumph T100 bikes due to them being easier to jump and eventually crash. During the scene, when the vigilante squad appear before Callahan on their bikes and give him a warning, the gang all proceed to ride out of the parking garage, and then all 4 crash into each other. Eastwood remarked at the end of the shot, "I've been threatened by the Keystone Cops." Apparently you could see it in the movie too, like they start to crash, but they cut away from it. I didn't check it out, but yeah, how about that?
Wow.
Magnum Force was the last time Eastwood and director Ted Post would work together. Clint and Post were constantly butting heads on set, with the star constantly calling the shots over the director, and Post claiming that Eastwood's ego was so big that it needed to apply for statehood. These claims, however, did not hold up to scrutiny, as Eastwood's reputation for high-quality work and efficiency has remained constant to this day. Post had other on-set altercations with producer Mort Abrahams while directing Beneath the Planet of the Apes in 1970, which resulting in his not returning to that particular franchise either. John Milius has a certain opinion on the film, as he is quoted with the following: "Of all the films I had anything to do with, I like it least. They changed a lot of things in a cheap and distasteful manner. The whole ending is wrong. It wasn't mine at all. All movies had a motorcycle car chase at the time, except Westerns. They have a scene where this black girl's pimp forces Drano down her throat. In the script, they merely went to the morgue and Harry said, I don't feel that bad for the son of a bitch because 2 weeks ago one of his girls was here and he poured Drano down her throat. I think it's better to hear about it than to see it later. Also, it goes right back to the character again. You understand Harry's feelings about it. All the stuff they put in it about the Japanese girl, they put that scene in where the star gets to fuck some girl, and it's pretty hard to get out. My Dirty Harry scripts never had Harry knowing any girls too well other than hookers, because he was a lonely guy who lived alone and didn't like to associate with people. He could never be close enough to a woman to have any sort of affair, a bitter, lonely man who liked his work. That's what Milius has to say about this movie.
Yep.
He's pissed, apparently.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it was a full-fledged relationship. She was just like, "How can I get in bed with you?" It
Well,
wasn't
yeah.
like a real thing.
And, Jill, they only did that because, Eastwood was like, well, if I can get lucky with this lady in this this film, boy, that sure would be terrific. And, he was answering like thousands of fan letters and they were like, I want your body. Put a woman in where she's, tying you up or something. Anyway,
Men being objectified.
Exactly. I know. What a torturous life this old
We're
man
more than
lived.
just objects, ladies.
Right. For the opening title sequence, Eastwood returned to narrate his classic line from the first film. He also opted to use his own hand to grip his massive trademark firearm. After shooting this iconic scene, Warner Brothers rejected the sequence, citing that whoever was holding the firearm in the shot had too dainty and feminine of a hand, and requested they hire someone else with a more manly menace to fire the .44 Magnum directly at camera. Although it is uncredited, rumor has it that this was Alec Baldwin's first major movie role. My final note, the film came under fire in 1974 after a series of killings known as the Hi-Fi Murders, during which 5 people were tied up and forced to drink Drano.
Oh, God.
The killers claim the idea came from Magnum Force, which depicted a prostitute being killed by her pimp, forcing her to drink drain cleaner, and they figured it was a pretty efficient way to get the job done.
Oh, God. How fucking awful.
Yeah, wild stuff. Anyway, yeah, this movie kicks serious ass. It's really good. It's, it did surpass the original. I enjoy this one better. I love Dirty Harry, but I like it's very different from Dirty Harry, but it's I like that they didn't call it Dirty Harry 2,
Yeah.
I like that it's just, it's a cool movie, and I think this was the first movie where Eastwood, even though he didn't direct it, he was extremely hands-on. I've seen a lot of the behind-the-scenes footage of this movie, and he's staging a lot of the action sequences. He's telling a lot of these actors what they should be doing. You could see Ted Post, the director, kind of sitting in the corner tapping his foot, but hey, if Eastwood, I don't know if he says, whatever he says, you got to do, right? He's the director. I remember a buddy of mine was in, what's the movie he just did with what's his name? Cooper as the sniper. What's it called? American Sniper, right?
Oh, yeah.
My buddy Brian, right? My buddy Brian's bragging about this. He's like, dude, I just met Clint Eastwood today. I was on the movie, man. I was like, yeah, what happened? He said, I just went up to him and said, hey, my name's Brian Boone. And he's like, oh, of course you are. Right? And he didn't realize that that's what Eastwood says to everybody. Like, I see him all the time. I see him at Mission Ranch in Carmel, and everybody's like, oh, hi, Mr. Eastwood, my name is so and so. He's like, oh, of course you are. And then he just walks away. Right? But he was saying, he's one of the snipers that was in the door of the medevac unit, I guess, and they're supposed to open the door during a storm and pull the guy in. And Brian said, he's like, man, he got really pissed off at me. I said, what did you do? He said, all I did was ask him. I was like, Mr. Eastwood, when do you want me to open this door, for the medevac? And all he heard was, open the door when I tell you to open the fucking door. So that's Eastwood's way of directing. Very efficient. Just do the fuck what I say.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, what a visionary director he is.
Yes, he is.
Can't argue with Unforgiven. No way. Rob, anything to say about this movie?
Yeah, it was my first time seeing it all the way through. I'd seen bits and pieces of it, but I had never been able to see it all the way through until I watched it for last week, and it's pretty awesome. I think it has better pacing than Dirty Harry, which makes it a little bit better than Dirty Harry in my mind as well. Um, I like the storyline where you're kind of following this mystery of who the cops are that are killing all these bad guys and taking it into account. And is it his friend that just left his wife on the force that's going through a hard time, or is it these young kids? Is how they kind of set it up, and it's cool how Harry kind of discovers who it is and what's going on here. My sci-fi kind of take on that is that these kids are not really kids; they're early versions of the T-800s, and they're there to get Sarah Connor, who's hidden by all these villains because she's got bad guys in her past. That's how she knows where to go for the future. But aside from that, no, I thought it was a really cool movie. It's very character driven. You see it really from Harry's point of view. And I like that. I like how they set up all these bad guys and set up, just all the action that goes on. It's got good rhythm, good story. It's top notch. It's a great movie, guys. Go watch this one. This one's a lot of fun to watch. And I didn't want to spoil the ending, so I didn't get any shots of the last couple scenes because I didn't want to spoil it for anybody. But the ending's really kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Oh.
What?
One thing to add. So the next day after I got the slides, I'm driving to work and I see two cops on motorcycles, and I'm like, this movie's going through my mind. I'm like, uh-oh. It just was funny. Funny side note.
Desperado Rob, no doubt
Yeah,
about
no
it.
kidding.
He's a bad man. Sean, anything to say about this one?
Yeah, this was good. This is another one I hadn't seen before. I think I'd seen a few scenes here and there, a couple of the iconic lines that we hear. It really good. The scene where she just comes up and straight out says, "What does a girl need to do to get in a bed with you?" It's like, oh, okay, that was a that was a nice scene. Cut right to it. But really good. I love that screenshot you did, Rob, with the pukey emojis. that was funny. Yeah, I looked up like the ending scene where they go on the aircraft carrier. That was really cool because that part of San Francisco, at least at the time, was very barren. There wouldn't have been anyone around, which was a pretty cool setting. Really neat scenes in there, and just great gritty movie with quasi porno music and a fun time. That music was pure prawn. It was good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Mhm.
Jill, have you ever seen this movie? Any opinion on it?
I saw it last week for the first time, and yeah, no, it's I heard that it is actually, is it true that it's Clint Eastwood's favorite Dirty Harry film? It would make sense.
Possibly.
It was because
Wow.
I love
Wow.
how it plays on the themes of the first one in a significant way, and I guess I learned from Gary the reasoning for that is because they actually listened to the fans who were complaining about Dirty Harry's motivations and how he skirted the law in his own brand of justice. And this movie challenges that by taking it to the furthest extreme by having these vigilantes essentially thinking that their murders are justified, but the truth of the matter is that they can't carry out these killings of violent criminals without taking along innocent victims along the way, including other police officers, which ends up happening in the movie, which is very interesting. It's kind of funny throughout the movie where you wonder, they kind of make jokes that, oh, maybe Harry's the vigilante killer. Of course, if you see the first movie, you don't really believe that, but you kind of think about it. And I like that they show us each and every one of the criminals that show up and what they did wrong before the vigilantes get them, except for, I'm not sure if everybody at the pool party was guilty or if the women there were just innocent bystanders who just happened to be with the gangsters and that's part of how these vigilante cops are no good, and that's why they go too far for even Harry. Harry would not do this. And so he has a great quote. I have a lot of stuff here. He says, where's it going to end, Briggs? Pretty soon you'll start executing people for jaywalking and executing people for traffic violations. And then you end up executing your neighbor because his dog pisses on your lawn. And an accidental fun fact I found out is Dirty Harry also references a dog urinating. So I found that out when I looked at the wrong transcript today. It's just a really cool movie, and a lot of the cast die in this movie. And I really like that one scene where they're doing that classic thing. I don't know if police officers do this anymore, where they do the little shootout kind of contest and
Yep.
with the fake cardboard and everything. And it's very clever that Harry asks if he could try, the other guy's gun, and he misses. He doesn't win, but he doesn't win because he's trying to figure out if the casing matches the rounds that were recovered from all the murders that had been happening by the vigilantes. And so that's some cool detective work. I like that kind of intelligent, fun action movie stuff. And I think they really took stuff like that pretty seriously. I was heartbroken when Early dies. That's I don't know. Oh, spoilers for an old movie. But
That's all right.
And there were jokes that we couldn't have today, like if the cops that were all hanging out together who end up being the vigilante cops, but we don't know that yet. And they say, oh, they're always hanging out together, they might be gay. And then Harry says, if everyone else was as good a shot as them, I wouldn't care if everyone in the department was gay.
Yes.
And that's fun. And just a good reveal with the main villain, and I guess I'll leave how he's ended a secret just like Rob Wright wants, but it's well done. It's a really good, fun action movie. And
Yeah, it really is, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, what was
I did. No, it's just I know I don't mind that his neighbor wants to have a little fun too. That was her prerogative.
Very true. Very true. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate that. Andy, anything to say about Magnum Force?
I'm thinking about my neighbors right now. Anyway, so the rookies, Gary went on to mention how some of these guys became like icons. So we know Tim Matheson from Animal House. Robert Urich, of course, went on to be Dan Tana and was a 70s icon as far as episodic television. All the girls loved Robert Urich. We had David Soul, who had a schmaltzy singing career, as well as his Hutch on Starsky and Hutch, sliding across the car and all that stuff, and of course, making famous with Mannix, with the stop motion, which Leslie Nielsen would capitalize on. Great Harry, Dirty Harry movie. This was a lot of fun.
I don't know what the fuck happened there. Sorry, Andy.
Whoa.
Go ahead. I don't know what that was. Sorry.
That was goes to Robert Urich. But yeah, this was a great movie, and this comes from an era where crime had ticked up and people were just sick of it. You see this with Dirty Harry. You see Charles Bronson and Death Wish. A lot of these movies were just emulating the times where people had just had enough. There was lawlessness in the streets, and people were just demanding like somebody put some order to it. And this was a really great addendum to this, where you say that, but you don't really want it. It's not a good thing, because you will get like shooting people for jaywalking, and which of course, sorry Rob, but like with the road rage thing, like I know you can relate to that. There's
well, thanks.
like, People walking through Dallas one day and jumping out of the way of the car is like, what was that? Just Rob. But great film, and Hal Holbrook is the epitome of smarmy, and well, he gets his, and but you have to watch it. You should watch all the Dirty Harry films. I've enjoyed all of them, and it's great when you watch Clint Eastwood, because he's had such a range of different styles of movies, and I don't think there's really been a bad one that I've seen. I mean, I even love Bronco Billy. So
Well, there you go. I've not seen Bronco Billy, so I can't comment. I couldn't possibly comment. All right, folks. Well, it's a great film. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Personally, for me, I love the first Dirty Harry, but I understand that this is a great film as well. All right, let's go ahead and get to some more of these super chats here. Super chats, mofo. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get to the rest of these here super chats. Thank you all for your patience. Jack White with a $10 super chat and a $2 super chat, 2 in a row. Thank you, Jack. Producer Jack White says, I've never liked The Wizard of Oz. Well, what the fuck? What? He says, I've never liked The Wizard of Oz, but this censorship stuff is getting ridiculous, especially from the group who 20 years ago were saying stuff like, if you don't like it, turn it off. Or if it offends you, turn it off. It's not, yeah, well, the Wizard of Oz isn't being censored. It's just being mutilated for financial reasons, for economic reasons. They got the right to do it, and they did it. And it just sticks in my craw, but I understand that this is a different thing. This is like a theme park ride. I'm kind of divided on it, folks. Kind of divided on it, to be honest. This is a great film, and I don't like seeing it kind of fucked with, but I understand the point. And hell, someday I might even go see it. Who knows? Evan Peterson with a $2 super chat says simply, rest in peace, Robert Redford. Absolutely, Evan, and I thank you for that, man. He was a legend. There's just no way about it. There's no two ways about it. That is it. Scott V has been a channel member 41 months at the Doomentite level. Hail to you, Scott V. Says, hail Doomcock and panel. Ding dong, the moron got fired. Good riddance, Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, well, it looks like he's gone. I don't know what to say. It'll be interesting to read more about it as it develops. It's a breaking story, just happened this afternoon to get out. I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll have some more to say about it next week. Trevin Lane with a $5 super chat and a $20 super chat. Trevin Lane is a producer on tonight's Pop Culture Breakdown as well. I want to thank you very, very much, Trevin Lane. Sir, you are, as always, awesome. And Trevin Lane says, Hollywoke really needs to learn that they're supposed to entertain us, not morally lecture us. They don't have a monopoly on entertainment, after all. He says, what really pisses me off about Watchmen is how they completely missed the point of it. The point of that comic was that it was a world without Superman, and the heroes lost touch with their humanity as a result. Yeah, and they just turned it into a woke wonderland. Or Zack Snyder cheated. He, took out the whole, alien squid angle, which was so shocking. Just changing it to, Dr. Manhattan left Earth or whatever. Look, you don't take Moby Dick out of Moby Dick. You just, if you can't handle the white whale, just film something else. Don't fuck around with Moby Dick. If you can't handle this classic story as it was intended, don't fucking do it. That's my take on it. So, because I'm a huge fan of the original graphic novel. I just think it's a high watermark of comics. So there you go. I was offended by that. Otherwise, it was a damn fine adaptation, but sadly, they fucked it up. Walter Tomaszewski with $1.99 super chat. Hail, Walter. He says movie ideas, Wagons East, which I've never heard of. I've never seen Wagons East. Any of you on the panel seen Wagons East?
No, but it's the
No,
last
that's
film of
John
John
Candy's
Candy.
last film.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. And Death Becomes Her, Robert Zemeckis. That was a weird, fucked up movie, wasn't it?
That's a good one for Halloween. I suggest that one.
I think that is a good idea. I think, Walter, we will do that this Halloween, which is coming up soon. It's hurtling towards us. Evan Peterson with a $5 super chat. Hail to you, Evan. He says, renewing requests for The Great Race, those magnificent men in their flying machines, those daring young men in their jaunty jalopies, / Monte Carlo bust. Yeah, I think at some point we could do The Great Race. We have talked about it. Any of you guys on the panel maybe want to think about that one, weigh in on it as we at the end of this, because that's a possible one.
Which one is this?
The Great Race, the Blake Edwards
Oh yeah.
with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon and Natalie Wood.
And Peter Falk.
And Peter Falk, that's right.
Jack Lemmon.
Playing Max. Oh yeah, Professor Fate. He was hilarious.
Well, Brandy.
Yeah. Kids, just kids, always kids, stupid kids. Jack White, producer Jack White, who's edging up towards executive producer tonight with a $20 super chat and a $2 super chat. This is a good one, folks. Thank you, Jack. He says, it's a reminder that the X-Men showrunner worked on The Witcher for Netflix and pointed out in an interview he gave that the showrunner of Netflix, The Witcher, and a lot of the writers openly mocked the games and books for The Witcher. They held the source material beneath contempt. You're absolutely spot on that, Jack. And yeah, that's why Henry Cavill walked, because he loved The Witcher. He was excited to play The Witcher. He's a fan just like we are. And when he saw what they were doing to the Witcher canon, that they did not have respect for it, it was, at one point, they were disrespecting Roach. They wanted to kill his horse and have him act in a way that the Witcher never would have. He was just, he fought them tooth and nail and finally just said, you know what, fuck it. You do this thing without me. I'm going. And I've never respected him more than that. Henry Cavill, he's one of us. London 19657 gifted an Overlord DVD membership to this channel, and I want to thank you, London 19657. 16 new members tonight, folks. 16 new members. That is absolutely fantastic. And Michael Beacom with a $10 super chat. Hail to you, Michael Beacom. I know you're lurking. So I hope you're still listening. Michael Beacom says, regarding the movie we love, until I started shooting, I did not realize how Eastwood is showing his machismo simply by holding and firing that gun one-handed, like trying to hold a football as it's kicked. I wonder if he he packed it with blanks, and that's how he was able to do that. Surely, I don't know. Could anyone ever really fire that gun one-handed? I don't know.
I do it all the time.
One-handed?
Yeah, the trouble is I don't hit anything because I'm laughing so hard when I'm shooting it. But yeah, I'd fire it all the time.
All right. Well, but yeah, okay. So it's not accurate.
Well, I'm not accurate. It's all me. I'm sure the firearm is extremely accurate, but
one-handed though, it would always kick like crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but he only shoots at cans. So
okay, well, they're not moving.
Yeah.
Thomas M. It's been a channel member 51 months. Hail to you, Thomas M. He says, hail DVD and panel. Rough times, but God is good. Yes, absolutely. God is good, Thomas M. And thank you for being here tonight, my friend. Always remember that, folks, even when things get dark. Listen, there's a lot of good left in the world, and we just have to never let people like this take away our sense of the goodness in the world and the goodness in ourselves and each other. Never let them lower you to their level of cynicism, pessimism, and hatred. Keep the faith, my friends. Keep the faith. Trevin Lane is a producer tonight on this Pop Culture Breakdown. And Trevin Lane with a $5 super chat and a $10 super chat, 2 in a row. Thank you, Trevin Lane. He says, I think that on Alien Earth, they're trying to make you care about the crew on that ship. So you care when they die. They have to die. So after all, he says, I'm not surprised that the Alien Earth is ending next week. I bet they originally had more footage, but it was all SJW crap that they cut to salvage something watchable. Hollywood is so broken. That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't know. I really haven't. I don't know anything about the production history of this thing. I don't know if that could be the case. Trevin Lane. I mean, it's certainly a plausible thing that we have seen that kind of thing before. That's why the Marvels was so short, because they had to excise so much shit from it that they were hardly left with anything afterwards. That may well be the case, but Jesus, I think it's both surprising that Disney was able to make something this good, but it's also kind of sad that it seems to be falling apart, in the final stretch here. Because I mean, honestly, Disney, to make something with this many genuinely horrific moments, and something that really does feel in a lot of ways true to Alien. I'm still impressed. I'm still impressed. And Trevin Lane says in the chat, I have no proof, but they started production on this show during the height of woke. Now, that's a good point, man. You may absolutely be correct on this point. Paulaveter Gamer with a $4.99 super chat. Hail, Paulaveter Gamer says, I know I'm stating the obvious, but what does everyone else think about the fact that Alien Earth is revolving around Peter Pan, the story? Well, I guess it's, I guess it's just a thematic thing at this point. I don't know that it's going to actually tie in literally or specifically to that storyline. I think, it's like the kids that never want to grow up in Neverland. Well, putting them in these bodies means they never will grow up, but honestly, Discovery tried to do the same thing with Alice in Wonderland, and it was pathetic in the first season. Do y'all remember that? It was terrible. It was fucking painful. This is not that painful, but there's an awful lot of good stuff about Alien Earth. I'm still interested in it, but I despair the stupid outweighing the good. It's really getting to that point, and I have a bad feeling that disappointment is just around the corner on this last episode. I don't see how they're going to come up with a satisfying ending to the season, and absent that, I just really think it's going to be a terrible disappointment. I guess we'll find out next week. Reason to tune in for Pop Culture Breakdown next Wednesday. General Sod with a £5 super chat. Hail to you, General Sod says, when did the guys, meaning the hybrid kid androids, when did the guys find time to make a stretcher for the dude who had the alien burst from his chest? And they thought Morrow would still want him? Well, yeah, that's a good point. Can anyone tell me? Andy, you make things. How did they make the stretcher so fast?
I'm wondering why the super strong android kid couldn't carry the one body by himself.
That's
why
a
he
good
needed
point.
help.
Just slung
And
over his shoulder.
yeah, I guess, I don't know, maybe before the kid got lethal cancer and died, maybe he was a Boy Scout and they fashioned a a sled somewhere. I don't know. That's the least of the things that don't add up in this, and it's a shame because I really like Noah Hawley. His stint on Fargo and the first 2 seasons of the Marvel show, the Legion,
Legion.
were really good. They were
Yeah.
really good. But I think in this, maybe he's over his head, or maybe he's got people that are demanding that he clicks certain elements in this. I don't know, but it's a shame because when you see something with such potential and it's unrealized, it's kind of like that girl in the prom dress that I don't. Never mind. She just doesn't.
Yeah. Well, in other words, I guess the answer, General Sod, is it's crap. And as far as they thought Morrow would still want him. Well, I think they were just hoping in a childlike way, because he's scared that this guy's going to kill his parents. I don't know. If it was me, I probably would have just killed him when I saw him, using my advanced android strength, but whatever. The Comic Relief Crusader. Been a channel member 27 months at the Dumentai level. Hail to you, Comic Relief Crusader. He says, what man meant for evil of Charlie's ending, God will use for good. That's a good way to think about it, Comic Relief Crusader, and really appreciate you being here tonight. Hail to you, my friend. Good to see you. The Dead Man with a $4.99 super chat. Hail to the Dead Man. Says Voyager gets better in the 4th season when 7 of 9 comes on board. She was a breath of fresh air for the show. She was a breast of fresh air for the show. What was that, Dead Man? She was a breath of fresh air for the show. Excuse me, folks. Kess was an awful character. Yeah, Kess. Kess. And Neelix. Neelix was always awful. I couldn't stand fucking Neelix. I'm sorry. I couldn't stand him. Jack White, producer Jack White, with 2 $5 super chats. Actually, I think maybe he's on the way to being an executive producer. Thank you, Jack. Jack White says, my lord, I just sent you a couple of emails, one with some links that might interest you and the other with links to various games you might like. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that, man, because I'm finishing up BioShock Infinite, and quite kind of disappointed with that one, but we'll talk about that tomorrow on the Archvillain live stream. And Jack also continues, reminder, Lindelof did Woke Men because he was so inspired by that race baiting piece of shit Coates essay about reparations. Yeah, I'm not surprised, dude. It was awful. Oh God, it was awful. If you guys have not seen Wokeman by Lindelof on HBO, one of the worst. Oh, fucking hell. It was so bad. Although it had one good episode in it. Oddly enough, one good episode with old Party Balloon. That one was actually a good episode. I got a good credit. I don't know what happened. It was an accident or something, but it was actually a good episode. I will give credit for good episodes, even on the shows that I hate. And Ben P with a $20 super chat. Hail to you, Ben P. He says, maybe ABC should try letting Sydney Sweeney host for Kimmel Now. Ratings. I think the ratings would rocket, skyrocket, actually. Well, something would go up. I'll just say that. Hail to you, Ben P. And Angry Yeti TV with a $5 super chat. Thank you, oh Angry One, says, I second Wagons East. It is hands down my favorite Western comedy of all time. You'll love it, guys. I've never seen that one. A Western comedy that I really love. Well, there's a couple, Cat Ballou. Y'all ever remember that with Lee Marvin playing 2 roles?
Yep.
That was a classic.
I've never seen that.
It's a funny movie. Lee Marvin, who knew he could do comedy like that, but he was very funny.
Andy suggested at one point The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean.
I've not seen that one.
I saw a scene from it, Doom, and I swear I was laughing so hard it made me sick. You will love it. I think you will really like it a lot.
That would be great.
Yeah.
All right. I need a good laugh. And also, remember the Frisco Kid with Gene Wilder and Harrison Ford?
That's right. Yeah.
Oi, Gavalt!
Gene Wilder.
Don't forget Blazing Saddles. I mean, that's the classic
Well,
Western
yes.
comedy. I mean,
We were talking about second favorite Western comedy.
Right, that's what it's got to be.
Yeah.
That's always the first.
Angry Yeti TV says it's hands down his favorite Western comedy. Did you forget Blazing Saddles, Angry Yeti TV, or
I thought he said second favorite.
no? He said I second Wagons East.
Oh,
Like, of wanting it.
Oh, well, Angry Yeti TV. I think it's time that you rethink your comedy Western list there, pal.
You might want to.
Y'all got to check out Evil Roy Slade too. I think it's on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
It's
If you guys want Evil Roy Slade, I have a copy of it for you. I'll give it to you.
And shit. Oh, never watch Rustler's Rhapsody. That thing was so fucking bad. It sent me out of the theater with a headache when I saw it. It was so fucking bad. I walked. I had to walk. It was terrible. Jack White with a $5 super chat. Hail, Jack. He says movies we love segments for Thunderball, The Fugitive, The Godfather, Batman Begins, The Original Spider-Man, Deja Vu, Inside Man, The Hurricane. When? I don't know. I guess we're going to talk about some of these tonight, Jack, and we'll see what we come up with. A lot of good suggestions out there, and we will definitely check them out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and go around and say good night to everybody. Gary Ambrosia, go ahead and say whatever you'd like to say.
Well, I don't know if I can say exactly what I'd like to say, but I'll church it up. I love you guys very much. It's great to be back, although against my will. But we will be back next week. So we'll have another awesome movie to talk about, and hopefully another show that will be decent. I don't know. But it doesn't look like it, but we'll see. But hail to the wrenches, hail to the chat. We love you guys very much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Gary Ambrosia. Rob Wright, go ahead and plug away, my friend.
Yeah, I've got a channel, Rob Wright Connects Pop Culture. I recently dropped a video yesterday about my tour a couple weeks ago of the National Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington, Texas. So check that out. I take you through the museum. I show a bunch of slides. It's a really interesting, unique experience. So watch that video. This weekend on Sunday afternoon at 5:30, I'm doing Pop Culture Roundup, where we do the roundup of pop culture stories for the last month. And then next week is the top hits of 1975 and an album we love, Led Zeppelin 4. So
all right,
it'll be pretty good.
Led Zeppelin 4, great album. Sean, go ahead and plug away, my friend.
Well, you can find me at the Sci-Fi Model Guy. It's been a few weeks since I put a video up because we have a new puppy here, and he takes up all of my time picking up after him. But he's really cool. I just want to say to the chat, everyone, just be good humans. That's it.
That's a good bit of instruction.
Yeah.
Andy Derivative Jill, go ahead and plug away. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm muted. I have a channel, Anti-Derivative Jill. So, oh wait, that's that way. And I enjoy talking about science fiction, fantasy movies, but I'll also talk about different kinds of movies too. And I like to explore the stories therein on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 a.m. Central Time. And sometimes I do stuff at other times too, other movie reviews, and sometimes I'll play games and things. And if you check me out if you want to hang out and talk about stuff. And sometimes I just do that, just to have a good time.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Andy Derivative Jill. Please do check her out and subscribe, folks. And Andy Masterson, go ahead and plug away, sir.
I've got a brand new pair of roller skates.
I got a brand new key.
Boy, we're really dating ourselves here.
Yes.
Thank you for everyone tuning in. It's been great entertaining you, well, in my case, if you call it that. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week where we'll be talking about possibly those of us that will be seeing Spinal Tap, and I plan on going to see The Conjuring Last Rites because Halloween is coming, because as we know, September is Halloween Eve.
Yeah, absolutely. That's correct. Spinal Tap, the sequel. Has anybody seen it yet?
Yep, I did.
Will we be happy?
Go see it.
All right. All right. I guess no, no incentive or spoiler there. All right, folks. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I want to thank all my wrenches for doing such an awesome job. And we will see you next Wednesday again, where we will review the final episode of Alien Earth and some more Peacemaker. And who knows what else? We'll have a Robert Redford movie next week. Who knows? And of course, Friday Night Frolics. Please check me out on Friday at 7:30. We do a lot of fun, weird stuff over there. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock and my panel of pop culture pundits bidding you all, my friends, stay angry, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.